Welcome to HOJO Radio.
Filter the Colgate Safety Man is on his way. Filter the Colgate Safety Man had lots to say. He told you tales of sports heroes, the inside dope he really knows. So listen in next Friday night. COLGATE.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 7th of December. It's not just enough to remember another December the 7th 4 years ago. You've got to do more than that. You've got to buy bonds in this last victory loan. Buy and hold those bonds. That's the best way to remember December the 7th. And also remember this. It's easier to dig into your pockets for dough than have a doctor dig into our bodies for shrapnel. Good night.
Bill Stern's latest article on sports entitled Doctors Are Miracle Men appears in the current issue of Esquire magazine.
Our next broadcast premiered in 1935. The program struggled in the ratings until 1940 when it became a national sensation. Within 3 years, it was the top-rated program in America. Few radio shows were more beloved, and few play as well half a century later. It was the brainchild of real-life married couple Jim and Marion Jordan and was broadcast to the nation from WMAQ Chicago. The show entertained America until March of 1956 and continued on NBC's Monitor until 1959. We invite you to join us at 79 Wistful Vista with Fibber McGee and Molly right here on HOJO Radio.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. Makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with songs by the King's Men and music by Billy Mills. The show opens with It's High Time. Every disturbed period of our history have come a few great songs. One that I like especially from the last war is Keep the Home Fires Burning. It's more than a song. It's an expression of the deep significance of home that a man feels when he's away from it. And it points to the great daily service that women of our families give us, keeping the homes cheerful, clean, comfortable, livable. That's a very important service, never more appreciated than now. Women who practice protective housekeeping with the regular use of Johnson's Wax find their work easier and results more satisfactory. Housekeeping authorities recommend Johnson's Wax, not only for protection, but also for the great beauty it gives to floors, furniture, and woodwork, and to windowsills, shoes, luggage, Venetian blinds, lampshades. You can give all these things a longer life of service with genuine Johnson's Wax in paste, liquid, or cream wax form. Ordinarily, the lady of the house at 79 Wistful Vista is a pretty calm individual, taking the antics of her husband as minor phenomena in an otherwise normal life. But his maneuvers the past few days have even her a little perturbed. And here, one making faces at himself in a mirror, and the other watching him in wonder, we find Fibber McGee and Molly.
McGee, please stop making those faces. What on earth is the matter with you?
I'm rehearsing.
Rehearsing for what? Do they need an air raid warden for the monkey house at the zoo?
No, I'm practicing to be a comedian.
Comedian?
Yeah, what our country needs right now is a lot of laughs.
Oh.
How are they going to get them? New comedians, that's the answer.
I see.
Sure.
You're the chap that replaces Chaplin and the Abbott in lieu of Costello.
Roughly, that's the idea.
Well, roughly, it's ridiculous.
I thought so, too. What do you mean, ridiculous? I know whereof I'm speaking about. Remember that picture we made with Ed Bergen and his little petrified partner?
Look who's... You You mean look who's laughing?
Yeah.
Well, what about it?
They never give me a proper break in that picture. I can be a lot funnier, and I can prove it.
Yeah?
Oh, I was great in the heavy stuff and the romantic scenes, but...
You didn't have any romantic scenes?
And why not? Jealousy, that's why.
Oh.
Afraid I'd steal the picture. So now I'm going to make a few reels of home movies and show them producers that McGee is really comical.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Such modesty.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you hide your light under a bushel, dearie, it'll be a million candle-powered light under a cellophane bushel. Now tell me what... Oh.
That's probably a delivery boy I'm expecting. I'll get it.
What have you ordered now? A corsage of shrinking violets?
Better be a shrinking violet than a silly aster.
Come in. Mr. Fibber McGee live here?
That's me, sis.
Package for you from the Wistful Vista Home Movie Company. Sign here, please.
Oh, okay. Here you are. I was expecting a boy.
So is my father, but life is full of surprises.
He means he thought the delivery boy would be a boy, dearie.
Oh, our delivery boy joined the Army.
Oh, good for him, sis. What outfit?
Brown suit, leather belt, overseas cap, and leggings. It's the latest style.
But what part of the Army, dearie?
You know what they say, lady. Keep your trap shut and nobody will get caught in it. Good day.
Smart babe. Take an appendectomy to get anything out of her.
Well, what did you get at the home movie shop, McGee? As if I didn't suspect.
Wait till I show you. There.
Oh, a little movie camera.
Yeah, the 6 reels of film. Now, I'm going to make my own screen test and send it to Hollywood. I'm going to send Prince to Zanuck and Warner Brothers and Sam Goldwyn and RKO and...
And Swift and Company.
Swift and Company. They make pictures?
They've got what it takes. But now, look here, you funny fella. How can you do your comical acting and take your own picture at the same time?
That's where you come in. You're going to be the cameraman.
Oh, no, you don't.
Sure.
No, I won't be a party to it. I may tolerate your foolishness, but I won't put you on a negative, and that's positive. Now, don't look at me like that, McGee. After all...
It's okay, Molly. You just haven't got faith in me. That's all. Let it go.
But, McGee, don't you see
Forget it, Molly. When a guy's own wife ain't got any confidence in a guy. How can you expect a guy to...
McGee,
Huh?
give me that camera. How do you work it?
Here, it's all loaded. Now, wait till I set it for indoor work. There. Now I'll set it for fast action. There we are. Now, all you got to do is look at me through this little dingus and press this button, see?
What? Well, how do I stop it?
Take your finger off the button is all. You catch on?
Well, I guess so. But now listen, I warn you, this first reel may be pretty wobbly.
Oh, that's all right. We'll give it a gag title like maybe How Green Was My Molly.
Oh.
That'll kill him.
And none too soon, either. After they see this, they will have seen everything.
Yeah.
Well, what do we do now?
Now, look. First, I'll do a fast scene, see? You point the camera at the door, and I'll come dashing in like the cops were after me.
Yeah?
Then I'll knock over the end table and get all snarled up in the lamp cord. That's always good. Now, remember, keep the camera on me. Wait till I put a funny hat on, and I'll be right back.
Oh, dear. What have I gotten into now? Are these the wages of cinema?
Start the camera, Molly. Here I come. That's it, Molly. Cut.
Cut what?
Cut the film.
What with?
No. Stop it. Take your finger off the button. Boy. That ought to be terrific. Did you catch the funny look on my pen?
McGee.
Huh?
Why, you're all cut on the arm. You fell on that broken lamp.
Oh, forget it. Once I get into the real thing, I'll have a stuntman to do the hard stuff for me. Hey, let's run through that scene again. I just thought of another way to do it. This time I'm going to do a flip-flop across the radio.
Oh, dear.
Now get ready.
No wonder they sell candy in theaters. It keeps the audience from grinding their teeth. All right, dearie.
Here I come.
Goodness sakes, McGee, hold still. How can I dab this stuff on your neck if you keep wiggling like this out there?
Yeah, don't forget now, that's iodine you're using, not soothing syrup.
Well, it's your own fault.
Oh.
You might have known if you slid down that banister, you'd sail across the hall.
Boy, I bet you got a wonderhead wig on and them size 12 shoes. How much? Oh!
Reels. How much skin have you got?
What's a few bruises? You know what I'm going to do for the next shot, Molly? I'm going to go up on the roof and jump off with an umbrella for a parachute.
Oh.
That'll be a panic.
No, McGee, I won't let you do it.
Oh, why not? We can get a new umbrella for $3.
Yeah, but can you get a retread on your sacroiliac?
I won't hurt myself. I know how to fall. Red Skelton showed me. Just relax.
Come in. Oh, hello there, Mr. Oldtimer. Won't you come in?
No, thanks, daughter. Just dropped by to borrow a pair of water wings. Oh, hello there, Johnny.
Hi, old-timer. We don't have any water wings, but have a chair. Don't you know this is be kind to your metatarsals week? Don't you get it, Molly? I said this.
It ain't funny, McGee.
Wouldn't even be funny if I knew what a metatarsal was, Johnny.
Metatarsal is a bone in your back.
No, it is not. It's a bone in your foot.
Oh, I know, but he'll find my foot in his back if he ain't more civil.
What you doing, Johnny? Studying medicine? Sure smells like a hospital in here.
Oh, he got cut and bruised a little, Mr. Oldtimer, and I've been doctoring him up.
Yeah, but as I always say, I'm an easy bruise, but a quick heal.
That's pretty good, Johnny. That ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller says to t'other feller, see, he says, you know what I'm going to do if the government won't let me buy enough sugar? Sure, says t'other feller, to whom it was an awful old joke, raise Cain. Well, if you have no water wings, I guess I'll be scooting along.
Well, what do you want with water wings this time of the year?
I'm going skating down the lake, daughter, and I hear the ice is getting thin. So long, kids.
Wonderful world. Now, let's see. You good at the camera, Molly. We'll take this one out in the kitchen. I'll load up my arms with grub and dishes, see? Then I'll trip over a chair and crash the whole business. Maybe wind up with ketchup streaming all down my face. How's that, huh?
Delightful. Delightful. Let's use my best Haviland china, too.
Oh, fine.
We might as well put a little class into this picture.
Oh, swell. We'll show them we spared no expense when it comes to making...
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, Harlow. Come on in and watch us make some home movies.
Say, you'd better take it easy, pal. You look like you'd lost an argument with an octopus holding 8 buzzsaws.
Sirree, I can't quit now. I'm going to finish this job. We only got 2 reels of film left, and I got to get them developed and sent to Hollywood.
Do you see how stubborn he is, Mr. Wilcox?
Yeah.
He's a regular Cecil B. DeMule.
Well, let's see a sample of this giggle opera.
Okay, come on out in the kitchen.
Better take some of my good glassware, too, McGee.
Okay, I'll take...
Stop that! Use the old jelly glasses. They break just as funny as my crystalware.
What's the scenario, Fibber?
Oh, scenario, we're taking a picture. Now watch. I pile this stuff up on my arm, see? Like this.
Yeah.
You get the camera ready, Molly.
Go ahead, dearie. I'm ready.
Now, when I say go, start the film. I'll pretend I'm getting myself a snack out of the icebox.
Yeah.
Then I trip and fall with a big crash, see? This'll be a howl.
Skip the build-up. Make with the funny stuff.
Okay. Action, camera. Now, let's see. Half a dozen eggs, a bowl of salad, some tomatoes, a bottle of milk, a couple of bananas. That's enough.
Look out for that chair, Fibber.
Huh?
Better do it over again, McGee. You didn't break either arm.
Oh, that was a honey, wasn't it? Did you get the surprised expression on my puss when Wilcox hollered at me? That'll register swell.
Yeah. Look at the mess on my kitchen floor.
Huh?
Let me take the camera, Molly, quick. While that milk and those eggs are still oozing together.
Here, but what are you going
Get a damp cloth, quick.
What?
I'll shoot you as you wipe those things off the Johnson glow-coated floor, see? Wonderful scene.
Oh, I see. All right. Start going.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't use that film for that. I only got a few people.
Out of the way, Fibber. You're in the light.
What?
That's it, Molly. This will show how easily spots and stains are wiped off a glow-coated linoleum.
Yes.
Keep smiling. Oh, swell. No trouble at all, you see. But now another little spot on the left there. That's it. Now face the camera and spread your hands out to show how easy it's been.
Yes, but...
Oh, that's great.
Hey, who's making these movies anyway? What'll Sam Golden say when
Did
he
you
sees
get it all right, Mr. Wilcox?
I think so, and great, too. You know what they say, one picture is worth 1,000 words.
Well, I got a few thousand choice words for anybody that'll butt into a guy's career like that. It's a fine
We'll
thing.
send you a print of it, Mr. Wilcox.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. I'll write a title for it. Something like, In These Days of Strife and Wars, You Save Your Wife and Save Your Floors. Self-polishing glow coat throughout the nation is quite an item in conservation. I'll run home and write that down before I forget it.
Why, that big palooka, he ruined the whole scene.
That's nothing to what you ruined, dearie. Just look at your shirt.
What's the matter with it?
Well, that's the first combination salad I ever saw with sleeves. And why are you holding your elbow?
Oh, I cracked it when I fell over the chair. Just temporary. I can get it fixed. Come in.
How do you do, Mrs. McGee? Hello, McGee.
Well, Mayor Latrivia, don't pay any attention to McGee's looks, Mr. Mayor.
I never do.
He had a little accident in the kitchen.
Yeah, I was... Hey, look who Latrivia's got with him, Molly. Hi there, little girl.
Hi, Mr. McGee.
Well, I didn't know you were a pal of the mayor's, sis. Ain't you starting to round up the boats kind of early to trivia?
Excuse me, please. I'll go call the camera shop while you talk to the mayor, McGee.
Certainly, Mrs. McGee. McGee, I was walking past your house and I found this child making marks on your front sidewalk with a piece of red chalk.
Marks on our sidewalk? Wow. Well, now, suppose you explain yourself, sis.
Well, gee, mister, I was just helping my daddy.
How? I says how?
How what?
How were you helping your daddy?
Drawing chalk marks on your sidewalk.
I know that, but what's that got to do with how... You try it, Latrivia.
Huh? Oh, very well. Now, listen, little girl. Defacing community property is a misdemeanor.
Who's she?
Who's who?
Misdemeanor.
She isn't anybody. She's... Now, listen. Marking up a sidewalk is very rude. It's unsightly.
I know it.
Then why did you do it?
I was helping my daddy.
How were you helping your daddy by drawing chalk marks on Mr. McGee's sidewalk?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, I was.
I'm in... Okay, McGee. Take it.
Now, sis, let's be sensible. Did your daddy tell you to mark up my sidewalk?
No, but somebody had to do it, I betcha.
Why? I says, why did somebody have to do it?
Because my daddy said so, I betcha.
Now we're getting somewhere, McGee.
Well, I don't know where. Now, just what did your daddy say that made you mark up his sidewalk?
Well, my mommy and my daddy are going to have a party, and they were talking about who was going to be at the party.
Yes.
And my mommy said, how about the McGees?
Yes.
And my daddy said, no, sir. We got to draw the line at the McGees, and so I ran out and did it. Take it, Latrivia. So long, McGee.
men sing What's Buzzin', Cousin?
What's buzzing, cousin? What goes on with that look in your eyes? What's buzzing, cousin? Does it mean what I think it implies? What's ticking, chicken? What gives out with that cute little grin? What's knitting, kitten? How's about am I out, am I in? Oh, come on, let's have a fling. We know that spring has sprung. Ask your mother to hold her tongue. She had a fella when she was young. What's buzzing, cousin? What you say to a cuddle or two? What's cutting button? What's dunking, funkin'? What's buzzing with you, cousin? Baby, what's what with you?
You got a fatal fascination.
It's a wonder I'm not under observation. What's yummy with you, mommy? Here's a cue for such a beautiful thrill. What's a cooking, pretty looking? Would you trade? And I won't, for I will. Wish I knew just how to say, come kiss me in Hawaiian. Give me a wanna, honey, how I really wanna. You can't kill a guy for trying. What's buzzing, cousin? You got 'em for the capital. Ooh, what's ducky wucky? What's hotsy totsy? What's tutti frutti? What's boogie woogie? Baby, what's one with you? With you.
Don't walk so fast, Molly. Don't forget I got a sprained ankle.
I'm not forgetting your ankle, dearie, or your cracked elbow, or your cut neck, or your lame back, or your loose teeth, or your bruised ribs. Did I cover everything?
You forgot my skinned knee.
Well, it's only another block to the camera shop.
That's good. When did they say the films will be ready?
Well, they're rushing them. I told the man you wanted to send them to Hollywood.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, he just made a funny noise and hung up. Are you suffering terribly, dearie?
I sure am, but it was worth it. If these films don't prove I'm a marvelous comedian, I'll eat my hat.
Say, what size hat do you wear?
7 1/4. Why?
Well, I'm going to weave you one out of spaghetti or something. I always like to see you enjoy what you eat. Look, McGee, here comes Mrs. Uppington.
Oh, boy, get a load of that lid. Does Rube Goldberg own a hat shop?
She never got that monstrosity out of a hat shop.
Oh, boy.
That's an old bird's nest built by a cross-eyed blue jay. I never saw... Oh, hello, Abigail, darling. Where did you get that lovely hat?
Oh, how do you do, my dear? And Mr. McGee.
Hi, Upsy.
Do you really like it, Mrs. McGee?
Well, I never saw anything like it.
Me either. Though once when I was looking at a drop of swamp water through a microscope...
Tell me, Abigail, darling, is that an original creation?
Oh, but of course, my dear. I have the most marvelous milliner. You must let me take you down there sometime, Mrs. McGee. She could do wonders for you. I've often remarked that if you would only wear some decent... you could be utterly charming except for your...
Never mind, Abigail, I get it. But you know I'm awfully hard to please. And you, you lucky girl, they can throw any old thing on you. And they usually do.
I'd give 4 bits for a handful of catnip.
Of course, Mrs. McGee, my milliner might be just a trifle beyond your, that is, she's horribly expensive, you know.
I can see that, Abigail. I could never afford to wear the kind of hats you do.
Well, I mean, of course, that anyone in my social position...
can get away with almost anything. Isn't it the truth?
When you've had enough folks hollering, I'll toss in the towel.
In fact, Mrs. McGee, I was telling my modiste about you, too. She insists that I bring you in. She has an amazing knack at draping difficult figures.
Well, she must have, Abigail. And if she can do as much for me as she's done for you, well, believe me, somebody ought to give her the business.
Yes, she will appreciate it. Why, good heavens, Mr. McGee, I never noticed.
What's that?
How did you acquire all those bandages and splints? What happened?
Well, he's suffering from a career-end collision, Abigail. We'll explain it to you later. In the meantime, let's you and I go shopping together sometime. I know some dandy places.
All right, my dear. We'll go to my favorite shops first and take in the rummage sales on the way home. Oh, goodbye.
She burns me up, McGee. She tries to give the impression that she has more of everything than anybody else has.
Yeah, she's right if you're talking about chins.
Well, come on, you poor lad. Do you feel all right?
Frankly, no. I don't. I feel like...
Well, hello there, Mrs. McGee. Hello, Mr. McGee.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wimple.
Hi, Wimple, chimp.
Which way did my wife go?
Oh, what do you mean, Mr. Wimple?
We haven't seen your wife.
Well, my goodness, Mr. McGee. You mean you got so bruised and battered all by yourself?
Oh, we were taking some home movies, Mr. Wimple, and McGee took a couple of bad falls.
Wait till you see the prints. You'll think they're terrific.
Sweetie Face and I took some home movies last week ourselves. She was making some educational pictures for the police department. Jiu-jitsu, you know.
Black and white?
No, black and blue. Clear up to... Oh, you mean the pictures? Yes. They were black and white.
You sure take a lot of punishment for a little guy, Wimp. I wish I could get over the effects as quick as you do.
Oh, it's just a matter of regular exercise. Mr. McGee, every morning before breakfast, I take a 2-mile run.
Oh, do you really? Where do you run?
Oh, just around the dining room table. Sweetie Face is so irritable when she gets up.
Mm-hmm. She must have caught you this morning, Wimp. You're walking kind of stiff.
Oh, I'm just suffering from housemaid's knee, Mr. McGee.
Housemaid's knee?
Yes. Last night I tracked in some mud, and Sweetie Face mopped up the kitchen floor with me. Well, I simply must be getting home, folks. I've got to help Sweetie Face with her homework.
What's she studying?
Part 4, Section 6 of the new police manual. How to throw tear gas bombs.
Oh.
If you're going past this evening, stop in and we'll all have a good cry.
He certainly has what it takes, hasn't he, McGee?
Yeah, but I'd hate to have to take what he gets. Oh, here's the home movie shop, Molly. Well, hold the door for me, will you?
All right.
I don't want to bump this elbow again.
Yes, sir. What can I... Oh, you poor chap. Let me help you to a chair. Here.
Thanks, but I was kind of wore out.
Yes, I've got to get him home to bed as soon as we get through here.
What could I do for you folks?
Well, I'm Mr. McGee, Bud. Remember? You sent me out that camera and those films.
Oh, yes. We picked them up a couple of hours ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just a minute now. See if the prints are ready.
McGee, you look awfully pale. Can you hold out till we get home?
Oh, sure. Wait till them Hollywood guys take a gander at them prints. They'll tumble all over themselves trying to sign me up.
Oh, Mr. McGee.
Yeah, Bud, you got my films? Let me see them. Hey, you got a projection room here?
Just a minute, please.
You can't expect to get them till you pay for them, McGee.
Oh, excuse me. You pay him, Molly. I'm too stiff to reach into my pocket.
Yes, you usually are. How much do we owe you, sir?
$3 for camera rental, $18 for film, and nothing for the advice.
What advice?
McGee, the next time you try to take pictures, first take the rubber cap off the lens.
Why, Bud?
Your films are all blank.
Oh, my.
Awesome.
How long have you had your present kitchen linoleum? If it's fairly new, you'll certainly want to take good care of it and make it last a long time. If it's old, all the more reason now for treating it properly. Linoleum should not be cleaned by the old-fashioned scrubbing method because continuous scrubbing only ruins it. It should be kept clean with a floor polish that also protects it. And that polish is Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. Glow Coat guards linoleum and other floor surfaces against wear and dirt, prolongs their life. You'll notice when you try Johnson's Glow Coat that it has a lasting luster, a smooth, even surface that doesn't chip because the Glow Coat film is flexible, not brittle. And you'll see that Glow Coat is economical, that a little goes a long way. These are just some of the reasons we say there's only one Johnson Self-Polishing Glow Coat. Try it, won't you?
Turn over, McGee, whilst I rub some more liniment on your back.
No. Okay.
You think you'll ever go on with your movie career, dearie?
No. I just been thinking, Molly. Remember that newsreel we saw last week of Mussolini making a speech on that balcony?
Yes.
I could never be that funny, could I?
No.
That's what I thought. Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, where the community chest is at work, Red Feather Services like youth programs and clinics, hospitals, and the USO give direct help to 2 families out of 5 every year. And indirectly, everybody benefits. Because community chest services make America's cities and towns healthier, happier places to live. So give generously to your community chest. Pledge enough for all the community campaigns that are united under the Red Feather banner.
HOJO Radio, we're your old-time radio headquarters. Stay tuned.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with songs by the King's Men and music by Billy Mills. The show opens with Liza. Many of you have already heard about or seen or even signed the Consumer's Pledge being sponsored by the government's Consumer Division. For the benefit of those who haven't seen one, here is the 3-point pledge women are asked to sign voluntarily. I will buy carefully, I will waste nothing, I will take good care of the things I have. Now that makes sense, doesn't it? And it's good business as well as good patriotism. By all means, take good care of the things you have. Make them last longer. Save for the country. Save for yourself. Now, one easy way to make things last longer is by protecting them regularly with Johnson's Wax. Floors, furniture, and woodwork that are wax protected are safeguarded against dirt and wear. They're easier to clean, and they become more beautiful with each application. Genuine Johnson's Wax is available in 3 forms: paste, liquid, and cream wax. Fibber McGee has bought a horse. Why did he buy a horse? Because his tires were getting thin. Where is the horse? The horse is in the garage. What does Molly think of Fibber's buying a horse? She doesn't know he's bought a horse. Why doesn't he tell her? Because he hasn't thought of a good way to break the news. Well, what happens now? Don't ask us. Ask Fibber McGee and Molly.
Hey, Molly.
Yes?
Did you ever think what'll happen when our tires are all shot?
Why, certainly. We'll walk. Incidentally, how are the tires?
Awful. They look like burlap bags with sidewalls.
Well, I guess they are pretty bad.
Yeah.
That left front one would have blown out long ago if it weren't too proud.
What do you mean, proud?
Well, now, if you were an inner tube, would you like to be seen wearing all those patches?
Yeah, and that spare tire hates me. Every time I open the trunk, it hisses me. Hey, you know, I've been wondering, maybe if we had a horse.
Oh, McGee, for goodness sake. Don't be ridiculous.
What's so ridiculous about getting a horse? I think it would be a pretty smart move myself.
Well, in the first place, you don't know anything about horses.
Oh, I don't, eh? I guess you don't remember the time the Rodale come to Peoria and I stayed on that bucking bronco for 5.5 minutes.
Yeah, I remember it very well. I also remember what you told me afterwards.
What was that?
That your belt got caught over the saddle horn and you couldn't get off.
Well, the horse didn't know that. Anyway, think what we'd save if we had a horse. No gasoline, no tires, no oil, no spark plugs. When I was out in the garage this morning...
Yeah, you didn't seem to think it was serious then. I heard you laughing fit to bust.
You did?
Yes. And I wish you'd tone down that laugh a little too, McGee. You know, you sounded like a horse yourself. You practically whinnied.
Oh, I did, eh? Oh, well, I...
Come in.
Hi, Johnny. Hello, daughter. Where'd you want the hay?
The hay? What hay?
Oh, you mean the hay. Well, I'll tell you, old-timer.
What you winking like that for, Johnny? Got something in your eye?
Huh? Yeah, but it's okay now. Just dump the hay on the back porch, old-timer, and mail me a bill.
Okay, Johnny. On the back porch she is. Believe me.
Wait a minute, boys. Now, wait a minute. What is this? Did you order some hay, dearie?
Yes, I did, Molly. I got kind of worried about those tires of ours, so... I bought a bale of hay. I thought if the worst come to the worst, I could stuff the tires with hay, see?
What a wonderful idea. I hate to think what a blowout would do to my asthma.
Well, I thought if we had any hay left over, I could make a scarecrow for Uncle Dennis, too.
For Uncle Dennis?
Yeah, keep the old crows away.
That's pretty good, kids. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller... Hey, what time is it, kids?
Well, it's about 4:15, Mr. Oldtimer.
Oh, good gravy. Just got time for one more delivery, then I got to clean up and call for my gal.
Oh.
Sugar's a great kid.
Oh, Sugar, eh? You mean she's so sweet?
No, she's hard to get. Well, so long, Doris. Well, so long, daughter. So long, jockey.
Okay. What did he mean by coming back and saying that? So long, jockey.
Oh, I don't know. I guess it's because I'm always riding him. See, that was really important. Well, I guess I'll take that hay out in the garage.
I'll help you, dear.
No. I'll do it. Hey, you know what, Molly?
What?
Now that we got some hay, what do you say we get a horse?
Yeah. We got a lot of ice cubes, too, so let's get a polar bear.
Oh, now, Molly, let's look at this thing logical. Suppose we do get a horse
Oh, for goodness sakes, McGee. Will you stop talking about getting a horse? In the first place, you don't know anything about taking care of one. Remember now, you were only a groom for one day.
There's nothing to taking care of a horse. Just give him the same care and kindness you'd give a good dog, that's all.
Well, now, if you think I'm going to have a horse sleeping at the foot of my bed every night...
And furthermore, Mrs. McGee, I guess you forget that I was brought up on a farm.
I don't know why I should forget. You won't even cut the grass on the front lawn unless the almanac tells you to. And it never has.
Well, I'm a farmer boy at heart, even yet.
Oh, go on.
Maybe you don't remember that little team of sorrels I used to own. Prettiest horses in Illinois.
Oh, my.
And affectionate, too. Every time I'd walk over to the fence, they'd kind of kiss me and nuzzle me with their soft lips.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. I've often heard people say, look at those horses, Neck McGee. Horses, Neck McGee, I would know that.
Wonderful world.
Horses Neck McGee, the most masterful magnetic mug that ever maneuvered a mare over mud and macadam to make monkeys out of military majors with their mobs of motorized machinery. A muscular madcap manipulating a martingale with a marvelous meticulousness that made me the most manly mountie, methinks. From the majestic mountains of Middle Europe to the Take It, Billy, I'm stuck in my stirrup.
With you. What are you doing?
What you mean, what am I doing? Can't a guy take a few pails of water out to his own garage without starting a lot of ugly gossip? I'm washing the car.
Oh.
And I wish I was washing a horse. No kidding, Molly. What would you say if I went out today and bought a good horse?
Well, I'd just make a few offhand comments and then run upstairs and wash my mouth out with soap. But you're not going to buy a horse, are you?
No, I'm not.
Promise?
Cross my heart. I'm not going to buy a horse.
Good. Anyway, even if we did have one, we'd have no place to keep it.
No, I don't know. There's plenty of room in the garage.
What?
There's plenty of room in the garage.
Well, there won't be when Mrs. Uppington's brother puts his car in there.
What? He can't do that. It's too crowded.
I thought you said there was plenty of room.
Well, there is for one car and a horse, but if he thinks I'm going to turn that horse out into the cold...
What?
Did I say horse? I meant our car. Anyway, she's got a lot of nerve using our garage for her brother. Who gave her permission to put her brother in our garage?
I did. She's here on a visit, and her garage is crowded, and I thought it was only neighborly.
Neighborly my kneecap. That old moose is too tight-fisted to send her brother's car to a public garage. That's what's the matter. The way she nurses the coppers, they ought to make her police commissioner.
I don't know why you're so bitter just because she wants to use our garage for a short time.
Well, gee whiz, Molly, I got to...
Oh, there's Mrs. Uppington now, McGee.
Oh, ain't that great. She brightens my day like a total eclipse.
No. Just the same, be polite to her.
Okay.
Come in, Abigail.
How do you do, my dear?
Oh, hello, Abigail. It's so nice to see you.
Hi, Eppie. Won't you hop out of your overshoes and flop the body on a stool?
Thank you, no. I just dropped in to thank you for letting my brother put his car in your garage. He arrives in the morning, but I insist on paying. Why, what is the matter, Mr. McGee?
Well, he just swallowed some words, Abigail. And I wouldn't think of letting you pay. Now, it's worth it to me because otherwise, you know what? McGee was talking about keeping a horse in the garage.
A horse? How splendid.
Oh, you think so, Uppie? You think it might be a good idea?
Oh, indeed I do, Mr. McGee. Of course, I have always been an ardent horsewoman.
What'd I tell you, Molly?
What did you tell me?
Remember when we met Uppie on the street the other day and I says, doesn't she look like a horse, woman?
Well, thank you, Mr. McGee. I flatter myself that the well-rounded sportswoman...
The what sportswoman, Abigail?
Well-rounded.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that the well-rounded sportswoman must do a certain amount of...
Horsing around?
In a way, yes. When I was a mere girl on our plantation in Virginia...
Tobacco?
No, thank you. But as I was saying, my father insisted that every gentlewoman must know how to ride. Consequently, I spent day after day on the bridle paths.
And night after night at the osteopath.
Mr. McGee, you're such a tease, really.
He's more monkey than a barrel of fun.
Well, Uppy, it's nice to meet a fellow horsewoman. I used to be a trick rider in a circus, you know.
Oh, really, Mr. McGee?
Absolutely. You should ought to have seen me galloping furiously around the ring and then leaning way over to pick up a handkerchief in my teeth.
Oh, how fascinating.
Yeah.
Then you rode around again, I suppose, and picked up your teeth in a handkerchief.
Tell her how you used to stand on your head in the saddle and ride around, McGee.
Oh, that was the best trick I done, Uppy. Not hanging onto the reins or anything. Feet in the air, head on the saddle, going around the ring at a full canter.
On your head? How utterly healthful.
What do you mean, healthful?
Well, they say that horseback riding is the best way to reduce the fat parts of the body.
Well, you could tell she's a horsewoman, McGee. Just look at the way she carries herself.
Yeah, what a carriage. Just the right kind of a figure to pull it, too. Well, anyway, she likes the idea of me getting a horse. You see, Molly, then, if our tires do go flat...
If our tires do go flat, we'll walk. And that's flat, too. Now, let's stop all this silly talk about getting a horse.
Well, if you only knew...
If I only knew what?
If you only knew how cheap I could get a good horse, and how easy he is would be to take care of.
Hello there, folks.
Hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, Harlow.
Hey, what's this about you buying a horse, Fibber?
Well, I won't let him do it, Mr. Wilcox. I think it's foolish.
But I thought he already...
Never mind what you thought I already, Harlow. I promised Molly I wouldn't buy a horse.
But I saw a harness man downtown.
Well, I care what harness man says. Every time he opens his mouth, he puts his neat foot in it.
Say, there's something very strange going on around here, McGee.
Huh?
Look me in the eye. Are you or are you not going to buy a horse?
I am not.
What was it you heard, Mr. Wilcox?
Well, I heard that...
Oh, gossip. You spend so much time in kitchens demonstrating glow coat, Harlow, that you're getting to be a regular old biddy.
Now, wait a minute, pal. I'm on your side.
Huh?
I think if you buy a horse to save your tires, it's very smart.
Oh.
I'm strictly a guy that believes in making what you've got last longer and go farther.
Yeah?
This is a time for conserving. Now, you take Johnson's self-polishing glow coat, for instance.
All right.
You'll have to speak good and loud, Harlow. I smoked corn silk when I was a kid, and it stunted my ears.
All right, but there's... Okay, but there's no kidding about this.
Yes?
The time has come when we've all got to take better care of our things, protect them in every way possible. And there's no better way to protect all wood and enamel surfaces than with Johnson's wax, and linoleum with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat. I could go into a long talk about morale in the home, too, but everybody knows the value of a bright and spotless home.
Mr. Wilcox, you think our home would be any more bright and cheerful with a horse in it?
I ain't keeping it in the house. I'm keeping it in the... What were you going to say, Harlow?
Oh, nothing. But my brother asked me to give you one of his cards. Here. Well, I'll see you later, folks.
Well, let me see that card, McGee.
Here.
Paul Wilcox, horseshoeing and blacksmithing. We mend harness, file teeth, braid tails, and carry a complete line of straw hats.
Here. Hey, don't tear that up. I want that.
What for? You told me you weren't going to buy a horse.
I know. Now, look, Molly, let's talk this thing over. If we had a horse...
We haven't got a horse, and we're not going to get a horse, and I don't want to talk any more about a horse. Is that clear, dearie?
I guess so. But gee whiz, if you'd only... Hey, where are you going?
I'm going out in the backyard and hang up some clothes.
Don't go near the garage.
Why not?
Oh, well, I got all that hay in there to stuff the tires with, and, well, it might catch on fire or something.
Oh, I'll be careful. I rarely hang up the washing with a blowtorch in my hand. I declare, if you don't think up the silliest things to worry about.
Oh, why did I ever purchase that Percheron? I should have stole it. I couldn't feel any more like a horse thief than I do now. When Molly finds out I got that nag out
Hi, mister.
Oh, hello, sis. Go away, will you? I got worries enough without you jawing away with your juvenile jabber. Go on, go away. Go home. Go anywhere.
Gee, what you worried about, mister? I should think you'd be happy.
You would?
Well, gee, I'd be happy if I had a pony, I betcha.
Maybe you would. What was that? You think I got a pony?
Sure, and a dandy big one, too. I saw it out in your garage.
Oh, my gosh. Now, look, it's not so loud. I'm trying to keep it a secret from Mrs. McGee for a while. It's a surprise.
Oh. It's going to be a dandy surprise, too, I betcha.
It sure is. It's going to be the darndest. Hey, how did you know I had a horse in the garage? What you snooping around there for?
Well, Willie Toops and me were playing catch, and...
Willie Toops and I, sis.
It was not. It was just Willie Toops and me. You weren't even there, I betcha.
Okay, let it go.
I did. And it rolled into your garage, and I went in to get it, and jeepers, was I ever surprised, I betcha. A green and white horse.
Green and white? No, he's pure white.
He's green and white now, mister.
Huh?
Willie tried to climb up on his back and knocked over a can of paint. Did he ever look funny?
Well, you wait till I get my hands on Willie. And you and Willie stay out of my garage, will you? That horse might kick you. Then what would you do?
I'd kick him back.
Oh, no, that ain't the proper attitude.
Hey, mister, do all horses eat straw? Do they?
Horses don't eat straw, sis. They eat hay. They sleep on straw.
Your horse eats straw, I betcha.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
Oh, yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, no, well, how do you know? There's no straw in the garage.
Oh, no?
Huh?
What do you think the seat covers in your car were made of? French pastry?
King Smith sings Gay Caballero.
Oh, I am a gay caballero, coming from Rio Janeiro, with nice oily hair and full of hot air. I'm an expert in throwing the burro.
Oh, I am a fair senorita, not thin and yet not too much meata. This Argentine guy just gave me the eye.
I'll sweep her right off of her feet, says he. I'll tell her I'm of the nobilio, and live in the Spanish Castillo. I must have a miss who long for a kiss and not say,
oh, don't be so silly, oh.
They went to a swell cabaretta, while whining and dining they met. They drank one or two, as other folks do. The night was wet and they were wet.
Dear senor, my name is Estrella. Oh, please, stick around me, young fella. Mosquitoes, they bite. They're vicious tonight. And you smell like citronella.
I swore I'd win this senorita.
Oh, senor.
I put her upon the sofita.
Senor, my husband walked in.
What he did was a sin. I still hear the birds singing tweet, 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 tweet. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Now I am a sad caballero. I'm now back in Rio Janeiro. I lost all my hair and all my hot air. I'm colder than 10 below zero. Shed a tear for the gay caballero. He was shocked by a jealous ranchero. His gravestone above says, I trifled with love. And that is the end of the gay caballero. Yay!
Boy, I hope Molly don't take a sudden urge to go into the garage. Maybe I can sneak that horse out of there before...
Help, McGee, help! Do something quick! Call the police. Get your gun, McGee.
What's the matter, Molly? What's the matter? Take it easy.
There's something in the garage. It's a monster. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, heavenly days.
Now, calm yourself, Molly. Calm yourself. I think I can explain everything.
You can't explain a brute with long ears and a green face and terrific big eyes.
Oh, it's just a horse.
And I don't care if it's a whole thundering herd of... Oh, what was that? A horse?
Sure. HOARSE, horse. It's mine. I bought it.
You bought it?
Yes.
But, McGee, you promised.
I know.
You told me you wouldn't, and then you... Oh, you've deceived me.
No, I didn't deceive you. I bought that nag long before you made me promise. I was going to tell you, but you were so dead set against it, well, gee whiz, I did.
Come in.
Hello, folks.
Oh. Hi, Wimple.
Mr. Wimple, what could we do for you?
Oh, nothing, Mrs. McGee. I just stopped by to say hello. Hello.
Hello.
Besides, Sweetie Face is busy at the house teaching jiu-jitsu to some soldiers.
Oh, that can be pretty dangerous, can't it, Mr. Wimple?
Oh, indeed it can, Mrs. McGee. Sweetie Face told me once that with simple leverage, you can snap a man's arm like a dry twig.
I bet you were pretty careful after that.
Well, wouldn't you be with your arm in a plastic cast?
Well, anyway, I think it's nice that she's teaching our soldiers how to take care of themselves.
Oh, yes, it's just wonderful, Mrs. McGee. And nearly half of them take the full course.
How about the other half?
Oh, they'll be all right, Mr. McGee, in time.
I sometimes think that your wife doesn't realize her own strength, Mr. Wimple. Did you ever think of that?
Oh, often, Mrs. McGee. In fact, just this evening when she was instructing those soldiers, I said to her, Sweetie Face, I said, I don't believe you know your own strength. And she turned her little dimpled face to me and said, Oh, Wallace, I do too.
And then?
Oh, nothing much. But did you ever get hit in the face with a mess sergeant?
What a dog's life he leads.
Never mind the dogs. I want to know about this horse.
Well, I think we ought to keep it, Molly. In the first place, I only paid $75 for him.
Heavenly days, $75. That's ridiculous.
Huh?
And worse than that, it's unpatriotic to keep a horse now.
What you mean?
Think of all the glue that's needed for the back of defense stand.
Oh. This horse ain't anywhere near ready for the glue works. He's a fine animal in perfect condition and all, for the love of Mike. Come in.
Oh, hello, Mayor Latrivia.
Good day, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee. Have you a horse?
Latrivia, the way you get right to the point, somebody in your family must have been frightened by a pencil sharpener. Yes, I got a horse, so what?
I wish to purchase it.
So?
No, wait a minute. I don't want to sell. Anyway, what do you want it for, Latrivia?
In view of the rubber shortage, McGee, the City Council has decided to supplement our motorized fire equipment with horse-drawn vehicles. I'm empowered to offer you any fair price for your horse.
Name it and you can have it, Mr. Mayor. McGee only paid...
Never mind what I paid. Molly hasn't even seen the horse.
Oh, haven't I? That green-faced brute with
Well, Latrivia hasn't seen it.
Oh, very well. Let's take a look, McGee. Where is it?
It's in the garage, where it's probably kicked the radiator off the car by this time. Come, Mr. Mayor. I think you're going to get the bargain of your life.
A green and white horse. Very decorative.
Some kid spilled some paint on him, Latrivia. Shows how gentle he is that he didn't raise heck about it.
Will you take $100 for him?
Sure I will, but... Gee, there's no fun selling a horse just right off the bat like that. Let's stick her a while.
Well, all right, if you promise to come back to $100.
Oh, we'll wind up at 100. But first, we ought to argue a while. I don't get to sell a horse every day, you know. Come on, sit down on the bench here and we'll kick it around. Hey, Molly, be careful. He might kick you.
I'm not afraid of him. You go talk to the mayor. Hello there, you big bag of alfalfa. How you ever winning my husband into buying you is the greatest mystery Oh, you poor thing. Who poured that paint all over you? Yes, it's a dirty shame, that's what it is. You wait till Mother gets some turpentine. I'll clean it all off now. Stop nuzzling me, you big baby. Don't look at me like that with those big brown eyes. Yes, would you? Now, don't you go away now. Mother's going in and get you a nice big carrot.
Oh, if you still insist on 100, Latrivia, take him away.
Very well, McGee. We'll pick him up tonight.
You do no such a thing?
Huh?
I beg your pardon, Mrs. McGee.
We're going to keep this horse. Look how lonesome he looks. What he needs is a good home.
Oh, but Molly, with the car in here, it's so crowded.
And that's another thing. Get that car out of here and give this poor horse some room.
Since this new wartime went into effect, I've heard several women say they didn't know whether they were getting their husband's breakfast or supper. Not that they were complaining. Like all of us, they're glad of a chance to help save electric power. Glad to help in any way, big or little. In connection with daylight saving, may I make a helpful suggestion? Your kitchen will be more cheerful on dark mornings if you keep it protected with Johnson's Glow Coat. It will sparkle like new. Colors will be bright and fresh, and it will be protected, too, against wear and scuffing feet. In fact, the regular use of Glow Coat will make your linoleum last 5 times longer than if it were unprotected. Glow Coat is called self-polishing, which means that it needs no rubbing or buffing. It's a tremendous labor saver. You simply apply and let dry. But to get Glow Coat results, be sure to buy the real Johnson self-polishing Glow Coat.
Going to sell that lovely creature for a mere $100. For shame, dearie.
Well, gee whiz, Molly. You were the one who...
Never mind that. It would be simply brutal to turn... by the way, what's the horse's name, McGee? McGee, what's his name?
Lillian.
Oh. Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
No program of better car maintenance is complete if it overlooks the paint job. You've got to take care of the outside as well as what's under the hood. And you can do it easily with Johnson's Car New, the labor-saving polish that both cleans and polishes in one application. 2 jobs at once with a minimum of work. Car New, made by the makers of Johnson's Wax, gains in popularity every month. Your car looks like new when you use Car New, spelled C-A-R-N-U. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Cream of wheat is so good to eat, yes, we have it every day. We sing this song, it will make us strong, and it makes us shout, hooray! It's good for growing babies and grown-ups too to eat. For all the family's breakfast, you can see cream of wheat.
Our next broadcast is a science fiction drama series that was broadcast from April 24th, 1955 to January 9th, 1958 in various time slots on NBC. Known for its high production values and adapting stories from the leading American authors of the era, it has been described as one of the finest offerings of American radio drama and one of the best science fiction series in any form and medium. We present to you X-1 on HOJO Radio.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X-1. Tonight's story, Ray Bradbury's tale, The Veldt.
This is the office of Dr. David McLean, resident psychiatrist of the new Chicago Institute of Human Engineering.
All right, Miss Carver, will you take this, please? To Charles S. Howarth, senior psychiatrist, New Chicago Institute of Human Engineering. The following constitutes my report on the case of George and Lydia Abbott, which we discussed by telephone. Subject George relates onset of symptoms to the purchase of a $60,000 soundproofed Happy Life home. Under narcosynthesis during initial interviews, subject described the experience in the following manner. Miss Carver, would you play back the sonic record of the initial interview?
We'd always wanted one, and then we could afford it, so...
Go on, Mr. Abbott. Tell me about the home.
The home. Well, it was supposed to do everything the agent told us. And it did, I guess. It clothed us, fed us, and rocked us to sleep, played and sang, and it was good to us. Very good, sure.
Tell me about the nursery.
The nursery. The nursery. Ah.
It was completely automatic?
Completely automatic. There were crystalline walls that wavered from 2 to 3 dimensions. There were pseudo-textured floors that shifted from brick to dirt to waving grass. The nursery was the best, but then we wanted the best for the children. Doctor, I must be crazy. We have no children.
What about Peter and Wendy? They're your children.
Oh, no. We have no children, Doctor. We have no children.
All right, Miss Carver. To continue. After 3 sessions, the subject was able to recall and accept the idea that he had 2 children. He described the first day.
All right, Peter and Wendy. This is your nursery.
What's so special about a nursery, Dad?
Plenty. Just go in and see.
Do we have to?
You'll be surprised.
Gee.
Go ahead.
I'm scared. I'm not. Hey, it's nice in here.
It is?
Come on in, Wendy. Boy, look at the pictures on the walls. They're real.
They're almost real. You can change them any way you like, just by thinking about it.
Go on in, dear.
Well, all right, Mommy.
Hey, Wendy, look what I can do with the pictures.
That's the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland.
Sure. I just thought about it, and there it was.
Let me try. Peter, let me try.
Well, go ahead. Just think.
How about Wizard and Oz? I want to see Wizard and Oz.
Well, dear, there we are.
Oh, they like it, don't they?
Why shouldn't they? All I have to do is think, and they've got whatever they want in 3 dimensions. Color, sound, and smell.
Oh, it's nice that we can give them all the advantages.
Sure. What else are we working for, huh? Well, what do you want to do this evening?
Well, the Petersons asked us over for bridge, but if you...
we don't have to worry about the kids. They'll be all right in the nursery. Come on, Lydia. We deserve a night out.
And in the nursery, the walls were a kaleidoscope of time and space and imagination. The green forest of Sherwood and the quiet forms of Robin and his merry men gave way to the roll of the high seas and the smell of salt in the air as Sir Henry Morgan sailed into the harbor at Jamaica. And behind the crystalline quartz walls, the vacuum tubes and grids and banks of metal image tape spun quietly and efficiently, erasing the line between illusion and reality. Of course, the electric bill from Consolidated Utilities was tremendous, but it was worth it. The Happy Life home breathed contentedly as life proceeded with soft automaticity as guaranteed in the brochure and bill of sale.
George. George, I wish you'd look at the nursery.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know.
I was in the nursery last week. It's perfectly all right.
It's different now.
What do you mean, different?
I want you to come and see.
Are the kids there?
No. Madge Allen took them to a show along with her kids. That's why I want you to look at it now, before they get back.
Oh, all right. But what you expect me to do, I don't know. I'm no mechanic.
This isn't a question of a leaky faucet, George.
All right, dear. I'm coming.
The The nursery light flicked on as they came down the hall. The relays clicked and the tubes warmed and chemical odor banks and pipes bubbled into life as they paused before the closed door.
Go ahead, George. Open it.
On all sides, in 3 dimensions, stretched the hot, tired landscapes of an African veldt reproduced to the last stick and pebble and bit of straw. The ceiling above them became a sky with a hot yellow sun. A wind blew in from the baked veldtland. The hot straw smell of lion grass. The cool green smell of the hidden waterhole. The great rusty smell of animals. The howl of the jackal in the distance. And the papery rustling of the great vultures that wheeled and circled under the yellow burning sun.
Let's get out of this, son. It's a little too real.
Oh, George, you promised you'd look around.
Well, I don't see anything.
Wait a minute. There are the vultures.
Filthy creatures.
There. There are the lions. Far over that way.
Yes, I see them.
Well, they're on their way to the waterhole. They've just eaten.
It's some animal. A zebra or a baby giraffe, maybe.
Can you see it? Are you sure?
It's a little late to be sure. Nothing over there but clean bone and the vultures swooping down for what's left.
Did you hear that scream?
What scream?
About a moment ago?
Sorry, no.
Oh, here come the lions. George, they're frightening.
Take it easy, Lydia. They're just illusion.
The lions were 15 feet away. So real, so startlingly real, you could feel the prickling fur on your hand, and your mouth was stuffed with the dusty upholstery smell of their heated pelts. And the yellow of them was in your eyes like the yellow of an exquisite tapestry. The yellows of lions and summer grass, and the sound of the matted lion lungs exhaling on the silent noontide, and the smell of meat from the panting, dripping mouth.
George, I'm afraid they're so real.
They're only an illusion, Lydia, that's all.
Watch out! Ah!
Out, quick, outside!
They almost got us.
Now, take it easy, calm down.
I could feel their breath.
Get a hold of yourself, Lydia. They aren't real. Walls, that's all it is, crystalloid walls.
They look so real.
Of course they do. But it's all dimensional color reactionary process and metal tape film behind glass screens. It's all odorophonics and sonics. Now here, take my handkerchief.
I'm afraid. Did you see? Did you feel it? It's too real.
Now, Lydia.
And we've got to tell Wendy and Peter not to read any more on Africa.
Of course, dear.
I want you to lock that place up.
But you know how difficult Peter is about that. I punished him last week by locking the nursery for an afternoon, and he threw a tantrum. And Wendy, too. Well, they live for the nursery.
It's got to be locked. That's all there is to it.
You've been working too hard, Lydia. You need a rest.
I don't know. Maybe I don't have enough to do. I have too much time to think. All I do is set the menu selector dials at the beginning of the week.
But that's the whole idea. The house is automatic.
I know, but couldn't we turn it off for about a week and take a vacation?
You mean you want to fry eggs for me?
And darn socks. I feel like I don't belong here. The house is wife and mother and maid. How can I compete with the African velts? George, those lions can't get out of there, can they?
Of course not, dear. Now don't think about it anymore.
They ate alone. He sat idly watching the dining room table produce warm dishes of food from its mechanical interior.
You forgot the ketchup. That's better.
It wouldn't hurt to lock the children out of the nursery for a while. It was clear that they had been spending too much time in Africa. That sun, he could feel it on his neck still, like a hot paw. And the lions and the smell of blood. Remarkable how the nursery caught the telepathic emanations of the children's minds and created a life to fulfill their desires. The children thought zebras, and there were zebras. Sun. Giraffes. Death. and death. They were so young. But long before you knew what death was, you were wishing it on someone else. But this, the long, hot African veldt, the awful death in the jaws of a lion, and repeated again and again and again. The children came home dutifully at 8:30.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Pop.
Hello, darlings. Do you want something to eat, dear? We're just having dessert.
We're full of strawberry ice cream.
And hot dogs.
We'll just sit and watch.
Sure. Peter, tell us about the nursery.
The nursery?
All about Africa and everything.
I don't understand.
Well, your mother and I were just traveling through Africa with rod and reel.
There's no Africa in the nursery.
Oh, come now, Peter. We know better.
I don't remember any Africa. Do you, Wen? Go run and see, huh?
Sure. I'll be right back.
Wendy, come back here. Wendy!
Oh, she'll be right back, Pop.
She doesn't have to. I've seen it. Come on.
Sure, Pop, but Wendy'll tell us.
Open the door.
See, Daddy? It's not Africa. It's Florida. Like in Bambi.
There go the deer. See? It isn't Africa.
I see it isn't. Go to bed.
But it isn't 9 o'clock.
You heard me. Go to bed.
Okay. Good night, Mom. Good night, Pop.
Good night.
Good night, dear. I'll be right in.
Wait a minute, Lydia. Look at this.
What is it?
This is the corner where the lions were, isn't it?
What is that you picked up?
An old wallet of mine. There's a smell of hot grass on it. And the smell of a lion. It's wet with saliva. And it's been chewed.
George, those smears of blood.
Come on out. Now let's go to bed.
But in the middle of the night, he was still awake, and he knew his wife was awake.
George, how did your wallet get in the nursery?
I don't know. Wendy must have changed the walls from the African veldt. I'm going to keep it locked. Maybe it isn't good for the children. My father used to say children are like carpets. They should be stepped on occasionally. We've never lifted a hand. They're spoiled and we're spoiled. I think I'll have Dr. McLean come tomorrow morning and have a look at Africa.
But it isn't Africa now. It's Florida and Bambi.
I have a feeling it'll be Africa again before then.
Although their automatic Somno beds tried very hard, the two adults could not be rocked to sleep for another hour. A smell of cats was in the night air. And in the morning, the stove cooked French toast, and the dining room table poured the syrup and melted butter.
Pop,
Yes?
you aren't going to lock up the nursery for good, are you?
That all depends.
On what?
On you and your sister.
We feel you should have some variety, dear.
I wouldn't want the nursery locked up ever.
Well, as a matter of fact, we're thinking of turning the whole house off for about a month. Sort of camping out.
Be fun for a change. Now, don't you think so, Wendy?
No, it'd be awful.
I don't want to do anything but look and listen and smell. What else is there to do?
Oh, all right. Go play in Africa.
Are you going to shut off the house soon?
We're considering it.
I don't think you better consider it any more, Pop.
I won't have any threats from you, son.
Okay, Pop. Come on, Wendy. Let's get back.
After breakfast, Dr. David McLean arrived.
Oh, I saw the nursery last year, George. It looked all right to me.
You didn't notice anything unusual?
No. The pattern showed the usual violence, a tendency towards slight paranoia. All children feel persecuted by their parents. It's perfectly normal.
There it is.
Suppose we take a look at it now.
They entered without knocking and sent the children out. The screams had faded and the lions were feeding quietly under the trees.
I wish I could see what they're eating.
How long has this been going on?
A little over a month.
Certainly doesn't feel good.
I don't want feelings. I want facts.
George, a psychologist never saw a fact in his life. He knows about feelings. And this doesn't feel good. Now, my advice to you is to have the whole room torn down and your children brought to me every day for the next year for treatment.
Is it that bad?
I'm afraid so. You know, that's why the nursery was developed originally, to let us examine the patterns left on the wall by a child's mind.
But what is it? What's wrong with Peter and Wendy?
It's hard to say.
I haven't punished them more than average. Oh, I took away a few gadgets. Last week, I locked the nursery to show I meant business.
You've let this room replace you and your wife in your children's affections. This room is their real father and mother. And now you come along and want to shut it. Well, you can feel the hatred coming out of that sky. George, turn everything off. The nursery, the automatic kitchen, the whole automatic house. Start now.
But won't the shock be too much for the children?
I don't want them going any deeper. Let's get out of here. I never like these rooms. I get nervous.
Those lions look real, don't they? I don't suppose there's any way...
What?
That they could become real.
Not that I know.
Some flaw in the machinery, tampering?
No.
I don't imagine the room will like being turned off.
Nothing ever likes to die, even a room.
I wonder if it hates me for turning it off.
Paranoia is thick today. Well, hello. Is this your scarf? It's stained. Brown. Blood.
That's Lydia's. Come on, the main fuse box is out here.
All right, go ahead. Pull the switch.
Yeah. It's off.
The two children were in hysterics. They screamed and kicked and threw things. They yelled and sobbed and swore and jumped on the furniture, weeping.
It's off and it stays off. The whole house dies as of now.
He marched around the house, cutting switches and pulling fuses.
Don't let them do it! Don't let Pop kill everything! I hate you! I hate you!
Insults won't get you anywhere.
I wish you were dead.
We were for a long while. Now we're going to start really living. Instead of being handled and massaged, we're going to live.
Once more, Daddy. Just once more. One more minute of the nursery, that's all. Just one more minute.
Oh, George, it can't hurt, really.
Oh, all right, only shut up. 1 minute, and that's the end. Forever.
Gee, thanks, Pop. Thanks.
And then we're going on a vacation. Dr. McLean is coming in half an hour to help us out. Lydia, turn on the nursery for just a minute.
Oh, boy. Come on, Wendy. Come on.
Thanks, Daddy. Thanks a lot.
Just 1 minute, remember? Now, where'd I put those suitcases? Lydia!
Don't shout, George. I'm right here.
Did you leave them alone in the nursery?
Well, I've got to get ready, George.
Well, I guess we better get them out of there before they get involved with those beasts again.
Pop! Pop, come here! Daddy! Mommy!
Come on, quick.
Wendy! Peter! What's the matter?
Hurry up. Open the nursery. Wendy! Peter!
They aren't anywhere. Wendy? Peter?
Peter! The door. Open the door. They've locked it from the outside. Peter!
Peter! Wendy! Peter! Open the door, dear!
Let us out, Peter! Open the door. It's time to go. Open the door!
George! The lions!
Peter, do you hear me? Open this door!
They're all around us, George!
Son! Son, do you hear me? Let us out! Son!
George! Look out! The lions! They're coming! Ah!
When Dr. David McLean came, half hour later, he found the two children in the nursery sitting in the center of the open glade eating a picnic lunch. Beyond them was the water hole and the yellow veldland. Above was the hot sun. At a distance, Dr. McLean saw the lions fighting and clawing and then settling down to feed in silence under the shady trees.
Hi, kids. Where are your mom and dad?
Oh, they'll be here directly.
Good, good. We've got to get along.
He squinted at the lions with his hands up to his eyes. Now they were done feeding, and they moved to the waterhole to drink. A shadow flickered as the vultures dropped down from the blazing sky to finish what the lions left.
Dr. McLean? Dr. McLean?
Huh? What?
Have a cup of tea?
Which concludes my report to date. There were no lions, of course. Not in a physical sense. Lydia and George were devoured, however, almost as surely as if there had been lions. Their personalities were devoured by the mechanistic marvels which had usurped their role as parents. All 4 members of the family are under intensive therapy now and are doing as well as can be expected. Send that by telerope, Miss Carver. Oh, and would you ask George Abbott to step inside? I'm ready for him now.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Veldt, written by Ray Bradbury and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast were Mary Patton, Bill Quinn, David Pfeffer, Beverly Lunsford, Charles Penman, and John Larkin. Your announcer, Fred Collin. X-1 was directed by Dan Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
CRESTA, BLANCA, Cresta, Blanca, Cresta Blanca.
Keep it tuned right here to HOJO Radio for more classic old-time radio.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction, presents X-1. Tonight's story, Almost Human, by Robert Bloch. Have you heard of the new science called cybernetics? It concerns man's efforts to develop a perfect thinking machine, a robot electronic brain that will not only do man's work, but even do his thinking for him. A robot that is almost human.
No, it's not impossible at all. In fact, one day, something like this may happen. A tall, suave gentleman in a black raincoat will walk down the street until he reaches a shuttered, isolated house. And then he will slowly mount the front steps, push the doorbell.
Just a minute. I said just a minute. Hold your horses. What do you think you'd...
Good evening, my dear.
Duke, why did you come here?
Curiosity, darling. I've been thinking over what you told me at our chance meeting last week.
Duke, you promised me.
I decided to come and take a look for myself. Where is the professor?
In his study.
Where's Junior?
In the nursery.
The nursery? How quaint. And you, I take it, are Junior's nursemaid?
I help the professor.
Tell him he has a guest.
Dukey's a nice old guy. Don't
Tell
do
him,
it.
darling.
All right.
Yes? What is it, Miss Williams?
Professor Blastman, a gentleman.
Here? I don't understand. I gave orders no one was to be admitted to the house.
He insisted.
Very well. Wait here. I'll get rid of him. Sir?
Professor Blesserman, I've come to see Junior.
Junior? There must be some mistake. There are no children in this house. I don't...
Professor, what you feel pressing against your belly is the muzzle of a .45 caliber pistol. Now, shall we visit Junior?
How... What do you know about...
I know everything. Shall we go inside?
I warn you.
On the contrary, I warn you.
Very well. This way. This is the nursery.
Where is Junior?
In the next room. Behind the door with a panel in it.
Very considerately furnished. Mother Goose figures on the walls. Blackboard, toy blocks. Panda. Bunny rabbit doll. Touching. All right, let's see him.
You can look through the panel.
Mary had a little lamb.
Oh, wow. Who'd have believed it? Junior isn't very pretty, is he?
I was not concerned with aesthetics.
Why do you hide him? Is he dangerous?
The world is not yet ready for such a thing. Besides, I must study. As you can see by his play, he is very young, hardly out of the cradle. I am educating him.
With nursery rhymes?
The brain is undeveloped. It must learn its behavior patterns like any infant.
You call that 8-foot monster an infant?
Physically, of course, he'll never change. He is built of chrome steel and glass. But his brain, that is my wonderful instrument. Unlike a human, he has no heritage, no basic instincts such as love or hate. These he has yet to learn. In some respects, he is like a blank tablet. What is written upon the tablet will remain.
You mean he has no feelings?
He will learn quickly. And now, if your curiosity is satisfied, I trust you will keep my secret. If anyone discovers...
Open the door.
Point... I beg your pardon?
The door, Professor.
Very well. Junior, come here.
What a monster.
Papa.
He talks?
Yes. Mentally, he's about 6 years old now. What is it, son?
Who is that man, Papa?
Let me handle this. You may call me Duke, son. I've come to see you.
That's nice. Nobody ever comes to see me except Lola. Play with me, Duke.
Certainly, Junior. Oh, and Professor.
Yes?
While we're playing, you can have Lola and Miss Williams prepare my room.
Your room?
I forgot to tell you, I've decided to stay until the climate changes and I can go out again. Meanwhile, I'll have a chance to play blocks with Junior. Understand?
I begin to understand. You are hiding from the law.
As you wish. All right, Junior. Your move.
Let's build a bridge.
I have a better idea, Junior.
What?
Let's build a coffin.
A coffin? I don't know that word.
Then I'll teach you, Junior. I can see the professor has been neglecting the moral side of your education. Very sadly.
You shouldn't have come here, Duke.
Why not, my dear? Afraid of me?
No, I'm afraid of myself. You're no good for me. You've always brought me trouble.
Except this time. This time it will be different, darling. This time I'll bring you diamonds.
Duke, what have you been teaching that thing?
Nothing, honey. I've just been playing with them. Very educational.
I don't believe you.
What's bothering you, Lola?
Today when I walked in there, he said to me, I know how to kill people, Lola. I'll kill you if you want me to.
He's learning very quickly.
Duke, I'm scared of that thing. It's unholy, a machine that acts like a human with that voice grinding at you, saying things you'd expect from a child.
You dislike him so much. Why did you take this job as his nursemaid?
Because I wanted to start over again. I answered an ad. The professor didn't ask questions. I would have been all right, too, if you hadn't come along.
I'm very glad you did tell me, darling. Because Junior is going to make us two very successful people.
Ha!
Like any child, Junior listens to what he's told.
Duke, I don't know what you're teaching, Junior. But I can guess. And it isn't right. It's evil.
Now, write on the blackboard, Junior. My name is Junior.
My name is Junior.
People are evil.
People are evil.
Evil must be destroyed.
Evil must be destroyed.
The professor is evil.
The professor is evil.
The professor must...
What are you doing?
I warned you to keep out of the nursery, Professor.
Go away.
You don't even remember me.
I know you. You are the professor. You want to keep me as your slave. You didn't tell me that people are evil.
People are not evil.
People are evil. They must be destroyed.
Stop it!
I am not a child any longer.
No, you're not a child. You're a monster.
Junior?
Yes, Duke.
The time is now, Junior.
Yes, Duke.
Keep away from me. Junior! Junior, don't do it! Listen to me! Junior, listen to me! Ah!
I did it, Duke.
Duke, I...
Can we go away now, Duke? I don't like it here anymore.
Duke, why did you do it?
The professor was in the way. We'll have to move very quickly now, Lola.
We?
Professor, if you don't plan to come along, just say so. I can have Junior write your name on his blackboard.
Where are we going?
We'll go to Charlie's.
With Junior?
With Junior.
Oh, Duke, you can't. I'm afraid.
Relax, my dear. The Duke has great plans for you two. Wouldn't you like to be independently wealthy for the rest of your life? No cares, no worries? Just good times and fine clothes all the time?
The only way you get that way is by inheriting $1 million.
Not when you have a fellow like Junior around.
I'm still afraid of him.
Junior wouldn't hurt you. You wouldn't hurt Lola, would you, Junior?
I like Lola. She's pretty.
There, you see? He thinks you're pretty. Junior's growing up. Sit down, Charlie.
Sure, Duke.
Lola and I are going to hide out here for a while. We'll need some help.
Listen, Duke, I'm trying to keep the cops away.
Sure. Now listen to me. I need a casing job done.
Oh. Sure, Duke.
You know the armored truck service?
Sure.
I want to know when they take the Acme deposits from Boston to Worcester.
Duke, you ain't thinking of a payroll truck, are you? They got cannons on those trucks. They travel in pairs. You couldn't get near one.
I asked you to do a casing job, Charlie.
Sure, Duke. Anything you say.
Find out what time they passed the narrowest and most deserted stretch of road.
Well, if you're going to pull a job like that, you'll need 50 men. You want me to get some of the boys?
I won't need anybody. I've got somebody.
Where?
He's out in the car.
Oh, what's his name, Duke? Anybody I know?
His name is Junior.
Junior? I don't know any Junior.
You will, Charlie. You will.
Smoke, Sam?
Well, thanks, Al. Whew, it sure gets hot in these armored trucks, huh?
You'll get used to it.
How much we hauling this time?
About $250,000.
Brother, could I use a hunk of that?
Who couldn't?
What's the first stop?
Acme National Bank. Then we unload a payroll of the Bronson watch plant. Hey, what's that up ahead?
It looks like something shiny on the road.
Throw up your spotlight.
Right. Holy smokes, you see what I see? It looks like a mechanical traffic cop.
About 8 feet tall.
Standing right in the middle of the highway. Maybe it's a Halloween gang, huh? Guess they're trying out robot traffic cops. Can you get past him?
I don't know. We'll have to slow down. Get on that gun, Sam. Let's take no chances.
Right.
I'll give it the horn.
Don't budge.
Where's our escort truck?
Pulled up right behind us.
Thing won't move.
Sure looks like something out of Buck Rogers, don't it?
That's a heck of a note, blocking traffic like that. I'll have to try and get past it. Here goes.
Holy smokes, it's moving. Hell, it's coming toward us.
Get on that gun. Give it a blast.
Bullets are bouncing right off it. It's still coming. Al, back up.
They can't. The other truck's right behind us.
Al, it's lifting its arm. It's going to smash our window.
Jeez. If I hadn't have seen it with my own eyes. Duke, we gotta quit this.
What's the matter, Charlie? Getting shaky?
The papers say he killed all 4 drivers. Listen, Duke, that robot is hot. We gotta get rid of it.
Stop your blubbering. One more good robbery.
You ain't gonna pull another one.
Why not?
Count me out, Duke. The law's gonna track that baby.
Are you quite finished, Charlie?
You got no heart, Duke. You're like Junior, all steel inside.
And you're just a big, warm-hearted slob. I suppose flowing with the milk of human kindness.
Well, I got nerves. I can't stand that thing, the way it looks at you with that iron face and clanking around all the time. Listen, here it comes.
Hello, Junior.
Hello, Duke.
I've been talking to Charlie.
Yes, Duke.
You know what I think, Junior? I think Charlie's yellow. You know what happens to people who turn yellow, don't you?
Yes, Duke.
Tell him.
They're evil. We have to destroy them.
Huh? You see, Charlie? Junior doesn't like people who sing to the police.
Duke, wait a minute. You know I'd never turn stoolie or anything like that. I never sang to the coppers in my life. You can count
Junior.
on me. I don't want no trouble with you.
Stop him.
I wouldn't...
Yes, Duke. I stopped him, Duke.
All right. Take him down to the cellar.
Duke, that noise. Charlie! Junior, put him down.
Take him down to the cellar, Junior.
Yes, Duke.
Duke.
Relax, darling. Stop shaking.
Duke, we can't stay here. Charlie's going to be missed. He's got friends. Now we'll have the gangs after us, too.
Oh, come on now. Don't worry, darling. The Duke will take care of everything.
Where are you going?
Out to a travel agency to get some tickets. You and I are going to take a trip, Lola.
You're leaving me alone here?
Junior's here, too.
It's just it. It's being alone with that thing. Duke, I got the jitters.
Now, don't you worry. In 48 hours, you and I will be on our way to Switzerland with $500,000 worth of loot.
What about Junior?
Junior will be taken care of.
How can you get rid of him?
Junior will do anything I say. So I'll merely have him get into the furnace and sit there while I fill it with oil and set fire to it. Too bad the professor couldn't have stayed around to see him growing up. He's almost a man now, Junior is. But not quite as clever as a man. You'll find that out after he steps into the furnace.
Get rid of Junior now, Duke, before you leave.
There's no time. I'll be back about 8.
Duke, please.
And be nice to Junior while I'm gone. Don't show him you're afraid of him. Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, Duke.
Lola,
What, Junior?
oil me.
Can't you wait till Duke gets back? He always oils you.
I want you to oil me, Lola.
All right.
I like you to oil me, Lola.
Yes, Junior.
Lola, do you like Duke?
Certainly.
Do you like me?
Well, you know I do, Junior.
Lola,
What?
who do you like best? Me or Duke?
I like you both, Junior.
Yes, but who do you love?
What do you know about love, Junior?
In the books, man and woman love.
No.
Lola,
What?
do you think anyone will ever love me?
Maybe. Some women can fall in love with anything, Junior. Even with something like Duke.
Why, Lola?
I don't know. Maybe because, well, as long as she thinks her man is the smartest and the strongest.
I see.
Where are you going?
To wait for Duke.
He won't be home for a while.
I'll sit in the hall and wait for him.
All right, Junior.
I want to be alone and think.
About what?
I read in a book today it was bad to kill people. What does that mean? Bad.
Bad. I don't know, Junior. I guess it's just a word.
Lola?
Hello, Duke.
Oh, it's you, Junior. Why are you sitting in the dark?
I was waiting for you, Duke.
Well, now that's a good boy, Junior.
Lola oiled me.
That's nice. I tell you what, Junior. I've got a little job for us down in the cellar. Let's go down there.
Now, Duke.
Right now, Junior.
All right, Duke. Are we going away soon, Duke?
Yes, Junior. We're going away.
What's in the cellar, Duke?
A little surprise for you, Junior. You'll find out.
Stay tuned for the latest news. And now, a brief interlude of recorded dance music.
Duke? Is that you, Duke? Junior.
Hello, Lola.
I thought I heard Duke come in.
He came in.
Where is he?
Down in the cellar.
What's he doing?
Nothing.
Did he say he'd be up soon?
No.
Maybe we better go down and get him.
He's dead.
Oh, no. No, he isn't dead.
You said the woman loves the strongest and the smartest. Well, I'm stronger and smarter.
But you aren't human.
I'm almost human, Lola.
No. No, stay away.
Lola.
Don't touch me. Those metal paws, no.
I love you, Lola.
No. No.
I love
no,
you.
no. No.
No. I love you.
The last thing she heard was the robot's harsh voice, droning it over and over again.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
And strangely enough, it did sound almost human.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Street and Smith, publishers of astounding science fiction. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Almost Human, a story by Robert Bloch, adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Santos Ortega as Duke, Joan Allison as Lola, Jackie Grimes as Junior, Guy Rep as the Professor, Nat Pullen as Charlie, Joseph Julian as Al, Lynn Cook as Sam, and Merrill Joels as the radio voice. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Ken McGregor and is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week, when the mighty Earthmen arrive in their ships of space, courtesy and proper humility on the part of the natives is expected. But some native inhabitants are too small to be impressed. We'll see what happens to such an expedition marooned on a far planet next week at X-1.
Get a can of Dr. Lyon's tooth powder today for a few cents at any drugstore. See what a surprise you get the first time you use it. We believe you'll never again return to ordinary, less effective ways of cleaning your teeth.
Our next broadcast was produced for syndication in 1949 at WMGM New York. It was based on a popular series of movies in the late 1930s and early 1940s and brought to the microphone the stars of the series, Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Ayres plays the young, idealistic doctor, and Barrymore, ever in character, was the crusty, lovable diagnostician. The men worked at Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine, a clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on. We present to you Dr. Kildare on HOJO Radio.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trust. I will exercise my art solely for the...
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. Story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Hello, novelist.
Hello, physician. Come on in.
Thought you might be too busy to see a tired old doctor this morning. How's the book, Amy?
Still going to the Emerson Publishing House, chapter by chapter.
Oh, I'll be looking forward to reading it and saying I knew her when.
If it's published. Well, I'm not dreaming any wild dreams about myself as a writer, but at least somebody's reading my stuff, and that means an awful lot.
Oh, I'm sure it does, Amy. And I'm all for you. But now that I know the state of the novel, how about the novelist?
Me? Oh, I'm fine. Outside of a pair of broken legs, nothing really. It's just these pulleys and weights that stretch me out like Monday's washing that bother me so much.
Well, that traction apparatus has kept your legs straight and normal through it all.
I know. I'm trying to use a typewriter with all this paraphernalia. I feel like a boom on a loading dock.
I've got some good news for you, then. No more traction from now on. We're going to have you taken down later on this morning.
Oh, Dr. Kildare, you really mean that?
I do. I'm putting you in physiotherapy right away. Pretty soon wheelchair, then crutches.
And after that?
Graduation day. Your own 2 feet, Amy.
And I live happy and successful ever after?
Ever after. Because you're the best patient I ever had.
No, it's because you're the best doctor I ever had.
Oh.
Or maybe old Ironjaw's the best doctor.
Ironjaw Gillespie,
Yeah,
huh?
I think he's the best.
Oh, what about Paul Campbell? He's sort of a doctor, a specialist in matters of your heart, isn't he?
You'll never be a writer physician.
And Paul won't be a doctor. But he's certainly done his part in helping you recover, Amy.
I might never have known Paul. Really, if we hadn't been in that accident together. He might have just driven me home and forgotten me. After all, I was just a girl waiting around in the outer office. I didn't have anyone anywhere before I came here. Now look at me.
Dr. Gillespie, I heard you. You don't have to yell at me. I was born with ears.
If the truth were known, you appeared on a stump one day and were hatched out by the sun.
Why, never in all my life.
You certainly never. Where's Dr. Kildare?
Across the hall, waiting for you in the x-ray room as planned.
As planned?
As planned. You said you'd meet him there at 2:30.
Well, then why didn't you say so?
I just did say so. And I have one more thing to say. I was definitely born at St. Mary's Hospital, Hackensack, New Jersey, November 14th, 1902.
1902.
1902.
You mean 1802? Probably aboard Columbus's flagship.
Dr. Gillespie?
Jimmy, I'm sorry I kept you waiting. What are these?
X-rays on Amy Dickens.
Oh, yeah. Well, mending process seems to be advancing nicely.
I'd like to have her in a wheelchair by the end of the week, if possible.
Aren't you rushing things a bit, Jimmy?
I don't think so. She's in a fine state of mind, eager to get on her feet again. Probably to get married.
Yeah, I suppose so. Paul Campbell, of course.
Of course. Who else comes to see her every day?
Jimmy, I've been meaning to speak with you about that.
Oh?
I know Amy Dickens is your patient, and...
Hello. Anybody here?
Oh, Paul,
Hi, Paul.
Come in, boy, come in. We were just talking about you.
How are you, Dr. Gillespie?
Hey.
Dr. Kildare?
Fine, Paul.
How's Amy?
Dr. Gillespie and I have just been going over her x-rays. She's making wonderful progress. We've taken her off traction. Really coming along fine.
That's good news. Anything that makes her well. As you know, I'm the guy who was driving the car. I put her in the hospital. If it hadn't been for me, she wouldn't be lying upstairs now. I want to do everything I can.
And you are, Paul. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid Amy would be much further away from recovery than she is at this point. She was in pretty bad shape. Oh, I understand you've placed a novel.
Not exactly. I've given it to my boss, Mr. Emerson. I hope he likes it, although Amy doesn't expect him to buy it and publish it right away.
Oh, that's good. A severe disappointment in her life right now could be disastrous.
Just getting Mr. Emerson to read it seems to be good enough for Amy. Yeah. It's about all she thinks about, so I'd say her recovery was pretty much in your hands.
I'm beginning to realize that, Doctor. Could I see her?
Oh, it's a little early in the day for visiting, but I suppose it's all right.
Thanks, Doctor.
Jimmy, I don't like it. I don't like it a little bit.
What do you mean?
Has it occurred to you that the medical safety of Amy Dickens rests entirely in that young man's hands?
He's been a big help to her. I have all the faith in the world in Paul and in Amy's spirit.
Well, so have I. But not in the complications that are the byproducts of love. Or maybe I'm just getting old and fussy.
Oh, remember, she was alone and friendless before she knew him. Now she has him and a career to look forward to. I wish all my patients had the same accruements.
But his role as a lover and an advisor doesn't make him a doctor.
No.
And no matter what her progress, Amy Dickens still requires competent medical treatment.
Maybe I should clamp down on her. Whip and saddle type of care.
Oh, no, don't smile, Jimmy. I don't want to interfere. She's your patient, and you're in the best position to prescribe for her. Yeah, well, shall we get on with these other things?
Well, I think the ride's over for today, Amy. Here we are. I'm back in your room, safe and sound.
How do you feel?
Just a little dizzy.
Well, you can't expect anything different your first time in a wheelchair. After all, you've been flat on your back for a long time.
I certainly don't want to be this week when I'm downtown talking to Mr. Emerson. After all, what would he think?
Hey, whoa, slow down there.
What?
Oh, what do you mean when you're downtown talking to Mr. Emerson?
Oh, well, you do have a special ambulance for wheelchair patients, and I thought I could sort of go out for a drive one of these days and
and sort of drop in and talk to your publisher?
That's exactly it.
I see.
What is all this?
Well, Dr. Gillespie, I had a letter from Floyd Emerson today, and he says he likes what he's seen of my novel, and he wants to discuss it with me as soon as I'm out of the hospital. But that won't be for months. Dr. Kildare, please.
Well, once you get over the dizziness, I don't see why not. The outing might do you some good.
Thank you, Doctor, thank you. This means everything to me.
All right, but right now, young lady, rest.
All right, rest.
Dr. Gillespie, Dr. Kildare. Oh, I'm glad I found you both together.
Hi, Paul.
Amy just told me you're letting her go downtown in a special ambulance now.
Yeah, that's right. She's going to call on you and Mr. Emerson. You knew he wrote her about her book.
Doctor, don't let her do it.
Oh, it's medically feasible. She'll be all right.
You see, even Dr. Gillespie admits that.
I know, but...
Okay. What is it, Paul? There's something wrong. Well?
Even if she goes down to Mr. Emerson's office, she can't see him.
What?
I work in his office, and I can't even see him.
Paul, what are you trying to say?
Well, Mr. Emerson didn't write Amy that letter.
Hmm?
I wrote it, and I signed his name. Mr. Emerson's never seen any of her work.
You mean you've been lying to that girl all these months?
I wanted to do everything, anything I could to help her get on her feet.
Now, do you realize what you've done? Instead of encouraging her all this time, you've been misleading her.
About the book, yes, but not about myself. I love her very much. I thought I'd be able to get the book in Emerson's hands before Amy got out of the hospital. But I can't even get to him now. Oh, I'm a heel of the first water.
Dr. Kildare.
Yes, Parker.
Your nurse just phoned. She wants you right upstairs at Surgeon about Amy Dickens.
Thanks, Parker. I'll go right up. Hello, novelist. Well, no work today? Chapter 7. Coming right along, eh?
I suppose so.
You know, my nurse told me something I can hardly believe. She said you refused to stay in your wheelchair today, but you asked to be brought right back to bed.
I was in it long enough to make a phone call from Miss Verner's office.
Oh, I see.
I called up to make an appointment with my publisher, Mr. Emerson.
Amy, please.
The secretary said he'd never heard of me or of my novel.
Don't you think that's funny? You mustn't take it. Paul's been lying to me all the time. You and Dr. Gillespie have been helping me lie. That's not true. Paul only did what he thought best because must realize I realize everything.
I can't believe him anymore.
Oh,
any of you. How do I know you're not lying to me about my legs? Maybe I'll never walk again.
You will walk again, Amy. You'll walk and you'll write.
It hurt me. I feel funny and weak and empty. The same way I feel inside.
Amy, stop this.
You've all lied to me. Lied.
Amy, please.
I'll never walk or write or do anything I want to do. Get out of here. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
We return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. Now we continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Oh, excuse me, Dr. Gillespie. I didn't know you were busy.
Come in, Jimmy. Come in. Turn on the lights, please. I was just trying to get a sharper focus on this X-ray light. But I've seen all I need to see.
Amy Dickens, eh?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Doctor?
She's getting worse. Notice the increase in muscle atrophy in a single week?
Yes, I noticed. She won't cooperate. She's just talked herself into not recovering.
If only that boy hadn't lied to her.
He tried to do what he thought was best. It backfired, that's all. He feels absolutely miserable over what he's done. He begged for a chance to straighten things out.
Truth is the only alternative here. He's got to realize exactly what he's done. And Amy Dickens must be made to realize all of the facts. You can't pamper a patient with rosy pictures of... Come in!
Good morning, Dr. Gillespie. Dr. Kildare.
Hi, Paul.
I came over as soon as I could get off. I want to go up and see Amy.
Oh, well, she doesn't want to see you, Paul.
Oh. Well, I guess I can't blame her.
She's a very unhappy girl. Doesn't want to see anybody or do anything. She just lies in bed looking at the ceiling. She won't even try to get up and use her wheelchair.
I was just trying to encourage her. I want you to know that. I didn't think it made any difference how I did it, as long as I did it. I'm not a psychologist or a medicine man. I'm just an average guy who did the best he could.
We know that, Paul. I don't think we've been reading the riot act to you. We just wanted you to have a clear picture of how things stood. And then we can proceed with the repairs.
I'll do anything. Anything at all. Believe me. I love Amy, and I want her to get well.
I called you over, Paul, because everything seems to revolve around the publisher, Floyd Emerson. Now, if you could just get Emerson genuinely interested in Amy and prove it to her, it might fix things up.
I'm afraid Amy's more disappointed in me than Mr. Emerson.
Oh, that's not quite true, Paul, but that could be remedied, too. Now, my suggestion is that you make your promise good and somehow get Emerson really interested in Amy's work.
I'll try.
Parker, where's my stethoscope?
Why, Dr. Gillespie, you're getting so old you can't see. It's hanging around your neck.
Huh? Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, light's kind of bad in here.
Light? Huh. Yes, me, you're about ready for retirement.
Retirement? Why, you old crone, I'll be practicing medicine years after you entered the old lady's home. They'll have you.
Well, they probably won't if they heard I've been working for you.
Is that so?
What are you doing with a stethoscope, anyway?
My watch has been running slow, and I'm listening to see if it has a murmur or something.
Well, I'll be hanged.
I hope so. I'll get it, Parker. I'll get it. You can go. Dr. Gillespie speaking.
Doctor, this is Paul Campbell.
Oh, well, Paul. How'd you make out?
Terrible. I couldn't get an appointment with Mr. Emerson, so I tried to force my way into his office. And guess what?
What?
I was fired.
No.
Yes, Mr. Emerson and his secretary got real mad. I was thrown out and paid off so fast I didn't even get Amy's manuscript back. It's still with Mr. Emerson's secretary. And the building police have orders not to let me in again.
This sounds unusually grim.
I've messed things up again, Doctor.
Well, for the time being, just sit tight and wait until you hear from Dr. Kildare or myself.
Gee, but I'm out of a job, and I've lost Amy.
Oh, I know, son, I know. But maybe it can be straightened out yet. I'll call you later. Goodbye. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. I'm glad you came in. I just talked to Paul Campbell.
Oh, what'd he say?
Oh, it wasn't good. Just for trying to get in to see the great Mr. Emerson, he was fired.
Fired? Must be a strange man. Yeah. Well, I won't take this sitting down.
What are you going to do now?
Going downtown and see Emerson myself.
What are you going to try and prove?
Just trying to prove that people are human and have feelings and care about their fellow men.
I never doubted it for a minute, Jimmy. I want to go with you.
My secretary said you told her it was an important matter. You perhaps have a medical book you're interested in publishing. Well, this company publishes only fiction titles.
No, Mr. Emerson. We didn't come here with a medical book for you to publish.
No?
No. To put it quickly, we came to talk about a patient of ours named Amy Dickens.
Oh, that. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. This is not a college for would-be writers. And the effrontery of that girl to use the name Dickens.
Oh, this is an unusual medical case, and we thought that if we explained
Look,
it to you...
I have already fired one man because of it, and I intend to take up no more of my time worrying about it. Good day, gentlemen.
Mr. Emerson, just one word, please. Our schedule is as busy as yours, and we have a young girl who's eager and rich in promise, and we took the time to come down and talk to you about her. Didn't seem to be an unnecessary strain on anybody's time, but perhaps my sense of values is distorted or something. Perhaps if I were more like you, I'd be more successful, whatever that is. But I'd trade a bestseller any day for the warm love of a human being I respect. Shall we go, Dr. Gillespie?
Not before I say this. Emerson, if you ever get ill, don't show up at Blair General Hospital, or I'm likely to cut all the meanness out of you, and your life wouldn't be worth living. Come on, Jimmy. I can't wait to get out of here. Well, what, Parker?
Are you and Dr. Kildare just going to sit around staring at the floor, or are you going to do some work today?
Oh, get out of here.
Oh, Dr. Carew called. He said he had a complaint from a Mr. Emerson that you threatened to commit mayhem on him.
I did. And I would.
He just said it in the excitement of the moment, Parker. You know.
I wonder.
Well, Doctor, I guess we'd better do it.
That's the only thing left to do. Nothing's worked so far. Just go up to her and tell her what she's in for and what she can do for herself without anyone's help. Let her take it from there.
I suppose so. Hope it does.
Dr. Gillespie, there's a man outside. I tried to tell him you were out.
Yeah, but he's right here. Hello, Doctor.
Well, if it isn't the publishing tycoon. Don't tell me you're sick and need an operation, Mr. Emerson. It just so happens I have some time.
I deserved it, Dr. Gillespie. It took a while to sink in. Dr. Kildare, I thought I'd return the consideration and come to see you in your office.
Well, I'm a little flabbergasted, but... sit down, Mr. Emerson. Sit down.
Thank you. I want you to know that I'm sorry for my performance during your little visit yesterday. It was wrong of me.
You seem to have quite a change of mind all of a sudden.
Well, it would seem so. I spent all last night reading this manuscript by Amy Dickens.
Oh, what did you think of it?
Gentlemen, this manuscript has enough wild situations and characters for 7 novels. And I think all of them would be exceedingly bad.
I was hoping for something else.
So was I.
However, there are some good points. This girl has a lively imagination. She needs discipline and an understanding of story construction. She might be a writer someday.
Well, I'm sorry it couldn't have turned out better.
Nonsense. I think it turned out just fine. After all, 1 young man and 2 doctors have made strenuous efforts to encourage her. I can, too. Now, if the hospital rules permit, I'd like to speak with this girl and tell her in person just what I think of her, her writing, and her future.
Hello, novelist.
Oh, Dr. Kildare, you startled me. Hello, physician.
Starting a new chapter?
No, just doing some writing exercises. How do you like this? I've been in my wheelchair 5 hours
5
today.
hours? I think that's swell, Amy.
Yeah, I've never felt better in my life. Imagine Mr. Emerson taking Paul back into the office and then offering me a job as a reader when I get out of here.
He's really a generous man.
Oh, well, it won't be a big job, but it will give me a chance to learn.
I'm sure you'll do very well when you start back on your novel.
Oh, no, I'm going to throw that away.
What?
Wasn't very good, really. But I got a great plot for a new one.
Oh, tell me about that.
Well, it's all about a girl, see,
Yeah?
in a hospital who wants to be a writer.
Uh-huh.
And there's a boy who wants to help her, but the boy's so darn much in love with her that he lies to her.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. And now, once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Here you are, Dr. Gillespie, your stomach pills.
Stomach pills? I don't want any stomach pills. Take them away.
I am going to stand right here until you swallow them.
Well, whose hair-brained idea was this? Stomach pills.
Yours? You prescribed them for yourself this morning. Said your stomach was bothering you.
Oh, well, since then I found out that my belt buckle was twisted and digging into me.
Oh, I'm not going to fall for a story like that now. Come on, come on.
Oh, all right. Water. Ooh, what awful tasting.
Oh, stop being a baby. I've watched you give out thousands of these.
Hey, what's going on in here?
Oh, she's been trying to poison me with some green pills.
Dr. Kildare, this man is impossible. Do you know what I found him doing today?
I couldn't imagine.
Reading a book called The Last of the Great Hussies. You should see the cover. Bradshaw a sailor.
Now, Parker, it's a historical novel. History.
Yeah, the history of what, I'd like to know.
Well, I've been reading the same book myself, Parker. It's not half bad.
You? Well, I've heard everything. This is no place for a woman with any breeding.
Poor Parker.
Oh, I just came from Amy Dickens' room.
Ah, what a grand girl she is.
Oh, I know. So much courage, good humor, and charm.
Jimmy, are you by any chance falling for this young lady?
No, Dr. G.
Ah, don't Dr. G me. Put an intelligent, pretty girl and a handsome man together for some months and things develop.
No, it's nothing like that. Besides, she and Paul are going to be married.
Well, just to make sure, I've arranged a little program for you tonight. Here you are. Dinner reservations, 2 tickets to the theater, and a corsage.
But who am I going with?
I have arranged for her to get the night off. Her name is Diana Werner. Yeah, she's a nurse around here, in case you haven't noticed lately.
Okay, Doctor, you win. But what are you going to do tonight?
I am going to sit up and finish reading The Last of the Great Hussies.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by John Michael Hayes and E. Jack Newman and directed by Joe Bigelow. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Supporting cast included Virginia Gregg, William Bakewell, Peggy Weber, and Earl Ross. Dick Joy speaking.
Oh, this miserable cold. And my sinuses.
Haven't you heard about Dristan? Dristan decongestant tablets for real relief from cold's misery and sinus congestion. Dristan is the revolutionary 3-layer tablet which for the first time makes it possible to unite certain medically proven ingredients into one fast-acting uncoated tablet. Dristan not only helps drain all 8 sinus cavities, critical areas of cold's infection, but circulating through the blood, Dristan's decongestant reaches all congested areas, shrinks all swollen membranes, relieves pressure and pain. An exclusive anti-allergent helps keep breathing passages dry and clear. Pain relievers reduce body aches, fever. Vitamin C helps build body resistance. This is Dristan. Today, Dristan is widely imitated, but the exclusive Dristan formula cannot be duplicated. There's nothing like Dristan decongestant tablets.
HOJO Radio, where the classics come alive.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trust. I will exercise my art solely for the...
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Oh, Diana, come in.
Jimmy, I know you've been busy, but that Mrs. Morton is still waiting.
Mrs. Morton? Oh, the lady with the baby.
Yes, I told her your schedule was full, but she insisted.
Well, I guess I'd better go see her then.
All right.
Can't imagine why she wouldn't settle for one of the pediatricians. Has the baby been a patient here before?
No, I've checked the records. I was just going off duty, Jimmy, but if you need me...
Oh, no, thanks, dear. If it was anything serious, you wouldn't have waited this long.
All right, Jimmy. Goodbye.
Bye. Mrs. Morton?
Dr. Kildare, the nurse said that you were terribly busy, but I just had to see you. I'm sorry to bother you, Dr. Kildare.
Now, take it easy.
What? I'm sorry. You don't remember me, do you?
Remember you? Well, you look vaguely familiar, but
Well, I wasn't Mrs. Morton the last time you saw me.
Oh.
Do you remember Kathy Winslow?
Kathy Winslow? Well, of course I remember, but... Well, you were only a little girl, and now you've got a baby of your own.
I'm 19 now, Doctor.
Oh, that's pretty old, isn't it? You say it like it was 90. Well, how are your folks?
They're gone, Doctor. An automobile accident 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know, Kathy. Well, did you come to see me about the little fella sleeping in the blanket there? It is a boy, isn't it?
Yes. He's only a month old.
Mm-hmm. He looks healthy enough. What seems to be wrong with him?
Dr. Kildare, I want you to...
Kathy, what's the matter?
Oh, I don't know.
Kathy, get hold of yourself.
Sorry. Dr. Kildare, could you find a home for him?
You mean you want to give your child out for adoption?
Yes.
I see. How does your husband feel about this?
Oh, Dr. Kildare,
Kathy, now I've known you since you were a baby. Why, your mother used to pay me a nickel to push your carriage when I got home from school. There isn't anything you can't tell me.
Oh, my husband doesn't even know about the baby.
Oh, I see. Kathy, do you know what adoption means?
Yes.
You know, once you give him up, I'll be bound never to tell who has him, and you'll never see him again. Is that what you want, Kathy?
Yes. Yes. That's what I want.
Yeah. Ah, look at him, Jimmy. Little rascal's trying to raise his head. What kind of a woman can his mother be to want to walk out on him?
Well, Dr. Gillespie, she's only 19. A little more than a child herself.
Ah, if she's old enough to have a baby, she's old enough to keep it and take care of it. Is she married?
She says her name is Mrs. Morton.
Do you believe her?
I don't know. She was a sweet child, though. Came from a wonderful family.
Well, that isn't always a guarantee against trouble, Jimmy.
I know.
What time do you expect her to get here?
She's due any minute. Told her to come back this morning at about 11. Diana will let us know when she arrives. When you see her, please try to be kind, would you?
Jimmy, you can't be kind to everybody. This baby could use a little kindness, too.
I know. I only meant...
I know what you meant, Jimmy. I know. We're doctors. Other people in the world may throw stones, but we're supposed to stand by and heal the bruises.
If we can. Something tells me Kathy's bruises go very deep. Then you haven't changed your mind, Kathy?
No.
Is it because you're afraid you can't support the baby?
No.
If that's it, Kathy, we can help you get a job. Find a day nursery to take care of the child while you're working.
And then after work, he'd be yours. You wouldn't have to face years of lying awake at night, wondering where he is and how he's growing up.
I can't do it. I'd be no good to him. He'd grow up hating me.
Kathy, there's nothing more valuable to a child than his mother. You must know that.
But I don't know anything about babies. I do things all wrong, and lots of times he cries.
He cries? What do you expect him to do, laugh? He's a stranger facing a strange world, and he has to learn how things are, just as you have to learn how to take care of him.
You know, Kathy, being a mother isn't accomplished by giving birth. That's only the beginning.
The baby will give you a chance, Kathy. Why not do the same for him?
Oh, but I am giving him a chance. I want him to be somebody. Somebody strong and worthwhile.
You seem to be under the impression that young babies crawl out into the world and succeed by themselves.
Oh, but I'm not leaving him by himself. I'm asking you to find somebody to take care of him. Somebody who's better than I am.
Who are you trying to make things better for? Him or yourself?
Oh, please. Please don't say anything else to me. If you won't help me, I'll take him to some other place where they will. I only came here because Dr. Kildare...
Because we've known each other a long time? Well, I was hoping you'd give that more thought, Kathy. Remember the little girl you were? The tiny thing I pushed around in the baby carriage? You know, your mother wouldn't have given you up for the world, or the sun, or the stars. If she were living, I wonder how she'd feel, knowing that you were giving your child, her grandchild, into the hands of strangers.
Oh, please. Please.
All right, Kathy. The adoption will be arranged.
Parker! Parker!
Did you call me, Dr. Gillespie?
Did I call you, Parker? Why, no. Where did you ever get the idea I called you? Where is that confidential file I asked you to get?
I gave it to Dr. Kildare like you told me.
Well, then why didn't you say so?
Oh, I guess the cat got my tongue. Or maybe you were just shouting so loud you didn't hear me.
Parker, I do not shout.
You do, too.
I should know better than try to argue with an old battle axe.
Old? Now, let me tell you something, Dr. Gillespie. You're not exactly a rover boy yourself.
Yeah.
If you need me again, I'll be in the next room. Just fire a cannon and I'll hear it.
Dr. Gillespie, what were you sticking your tongue out for?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I was just going to see your letter.
Oh?
Slipped out of my hands. Must have gone under the desk.
Oh, I'll help you find it.
No, I can wait. Yeah, I'll get it later. Have you looked through that file?
Oh, yes. Some pretty wonderful couples who haven't been blessed with children of their own.
Jimmy, I know 100 who'd be happy to take that Morton baby and love it and cherish it for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, Dr. Gillespie. I hate to be responsible for a decision of this kind.
You don't think I enjoy it, do you?
You know, Kathy wants that baby herself. No matter how she acts or what she says, she still wants him.
I think so, too, Jimmy. Yeah. But what can we do if she won't keep him?
There must be a reason for it.
Girl has a guilt complex, feeling of inferiority.
But why?
Jimmy, she calls herself Mrs. Morton. But we've no proof that there is a Mr. Morton.
No, that's right. Well, I'm going to try to find him. I'm going to check the other hospitals, locate the baby's birth certificate, and see if I can't establish the father's full name.
Well, suppose you don't find anything.
Well, then I thought perhaps we might let Kathy meet the couple who come to adopt the child. Once she knew he was going, her instinct might make her grab onto him.
Oh, that's not very fair, Jimmy. Not fair to the couple who want the child.
No, it isn't. We can't do that.
But it might work if we got a couple to pretend they were thinking of adoption.
That's an idea. Especially if we get a couple she wouldn't want the child to be with.
Jimmy, I know just the pair.
Who?
You leave it to me. You just get going and check on that birth certificate.
All right. I'm on my way.
Parker! Oh, Parker!
Yes, Dr. Gillespie.
Sit down, Parker. Sit down.
Well, what are you looking at me like that for?
Parker, I have wonderful news for you. Parker, you are about to become a mother.
We return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. Now we continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Are you crazy, Dr. Gillespie? I couldn't adopt a little baby.
I'm only asking you to pretend you want to adopt him, Parker. Well, that shouldn't be so hard for you. After all, you walk around here in a uniform pretending to work.
Well, I never.
The baby's mother has never seen you. Now, do you want to help, or do you want to see that child separated from its natural mother?
Well, am I supposed to be adopting this baby all by myself?
No, Parker, no. I got a make-believe husband all picked out for you.
Who?
I sent Diana for him. He'll be here in a minute. As a matter of fact, I think I hear him coming right.
Did you want to see me, Dr. Gillespie?
Him? Now, you listen to me, Dr. Gillespie.
Quiet, Parker, quiet.
What's all this about him? Who's him?
Dr. Carew, him is you. Sit down, Daddy.
I remember the name of Morton, Dr. Kildare. I'm sure the baby was born here.
Must have been last month.
Then it'll be in this record book. Here we are. Morton, a boy born to Mrs. Kathy Morton on the 14th.
That's the one. May I see that?
Well, of course, Doctor. Help yourself.
Father, Sergeant Walter Morton. Don't you have an address on him?
No, apparently Mrs. Morton didn't give an address.
Sergeant.
Might be a policeman, Dr. Kildare.
Yeah? Or a member of the armed forces. Well, I'll find out. Thanks very much.
You're welcome, Doctor.
Dr. Gillespie, this is preposterous. Absolutely preposterous.
It's also absolutely necessary. Now, let's go over it again. Where are you from?
Australia.
And what do you do in Australia, Dr. or rather, Mr. Carew?
We raise kangaroos.
Sheep. You raise sheep.
All right, Dr. Gillespie. Sheep.
Now, why do you want to adopt a little boy?
So we'll have somebody to take care of the sheep without having to pay wages. Dr. Gillespie, that young woman will think I am a monster.
That's exactly what we wanted to think. Hello?
Dr. Gillespie?
Oh, Jimmy, yeah. What'd you find out?
Kathy has a husband, all right. His name is Sergeant Walter Morton.
Have you been able to locate him?
Yes, Fort Bixby.
Well, get out there and bring him back with you.
I just stopped a call on the way. How's your plan working?
Jimmy, I have the greatest pair of prospective foster parents you ever looked eyes on.
Who?
Parker and Carew.
Oh, no!
Jimmy, by the time you get Kathy's husband back here, she'll be softened up completely. I don't think a female ape would hand her child over to Parker and Carew.
Well, keep the wheels turning, Dr. G. I'm off for Fort Bixby.
That's Sergeant Morton coming in with his squad now.
What sort of a man is he, Captain?
There isn't a better or tougher top sergeant in the Marine Corps.
What? You can stand there at attention till you decide which foot is your left.
Sergeant Morton.
Yes, sir.
At ease, Sergeant. This is Dr. Kildare. I'm giving you a 3-day pass so you can leave the post with the doctor.
Yes, sir.
Take over, Dr. Kildare.
Doc, what's this all about? Where am I supposed to go with you?
To see your wife, Kathy, if you'd like.
Kathy? Where is she? Is she all right, Doc? I've been looking all over for her for months.
She's all right, Sergeant. By the way, when did you see her last?
Not since she walked out on me months ago. Look, you gotta take me to her. I've been half crazy worrying about her.
All right, Walter, I'll take you to her. But she's changed.
What do you mean, changed? You said she was all right.
She is, but there's another man in her life now. A pretty handsome young fella.
Another man? Who is he? Where is he? Lead me to him. I'll punch him right in the nose.
Oh, I don't think you will. He's pretty strong.
Strong? I'll show him who's strong. Just wait till I get my hands on him.
Just wait until he gets his hands on you. Well, Walter, still gonna punch him in the nose?
See, Doc, he is strong, isn't he? Look at the grip he's got on my finger.
Got a pretty good grip on your heart, too, hasn't he?
But why didn't Kathy tell me? Why did she run away?
I'm afraid only you can answer that. Did you have any sort of an argument or anything before she left?
Well, there wasn't an argument exactly. I was home from the post. She cooked a big dinner, but it was kind of burnt.
I see. Well, then what happened?
Well, Kathy's dinners were always kind of burnt. I guess I said something about it.
Oh, what did you say, Walter?
I said she ought to get on the ball with her cooking and housekeeping. And then I said it was a good thing we didn't have a kid because she'd never learn how to take care of it.
Well, that was real bright, Walter. Tell me, was there something special about that dinner? You said it was big.
Well, yeah. She'd baked a cake even. But, Doc, it was an awful cake, honest.
I don't care how awful it was. That dinner must have meant something to her, because I've got a hunch that was the day she found out she was going to have the baby. And she was making that dinner so she could tell you and celebrate.
Oh, Doc, holy smokes. Oh, what a dope I am.
You can say that again. You married an 18-year-old girl who adored you and looked up to you, and then you treated her like a boot camp recruit.
But, Doc, I love Kathy. I was just trying to tell her...
Yes, only you were telling her like a top sergeant, not a husband. You had her so frightened she couldn't do anything right. Pick up your son and come with me.
Well, Doc, you gonna fix it so I can talk to her?
Yes? And you'd better do some thinking about how you should talk to a young bride. You know, she can learn to do anything any other young wife and mother can do, if you give her a chance.
So you don't want those people to have your baby then?
Why, no. No, they were terrible people.
Well, you've got to give them to somebody if you won't take care of them yourself.
I've told you 100 times I can't take care of him. I don't know how to do anything. I can't cook. I can't keep house. I can't even make a bed right.
Who said so? You were 16 years old when you lost your parents. What did you do up till then?
I went to school.
And after that you went to work, didn't you?
Yes.
So you never kept a home until you were married, did you?
No.
Did you expect to learn all the things a woman does in a lifetime in the course of a few short months?
I don't know.
Well, Kathy. Dr. Gillespie.
Jimmy, Mrs. Morton didn't like the, foster parents I found for her baby.
Oh? Oh, that's too bad.
Well, they wouldn't love him and take care of him the way they should.
Jimmy, come here, man, please, man. Did you find the husband?
Yes, he's waiting in the next room with the baby, but we can't let her know that yet.
No. She's got to be willing to take the boy on her own, with or without her.
I think she will. Kathy, I found somebody else to take your baby. Someone who's certain to love him and be kind to him.
Can I see them and talk to them?
No, I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh, but Dr. Gillespie let me talk to those other people.
I told you why I was able to do that, Kathy. Because they were from Australia.
That's right. If they'd taken the baby, they'd have taken it far away to a different country where you couldn't have followed them trying to see the child.
Oh, but it isn't fair. You're asking me to give my child to people I've never seen.
Oh, that won't make any difference. You won't be seeing the child again, either.
He won't need you, Kathy. He'll be somebody else's baby when they take him out of here.
Foster parents take a child because they want him, Kathy.
Once he grabs a finger with that little fist, he'll make a home for himself. He'll not only belong to them, they'll belong to him.
All you have to do is to sign the adoption papers, Kathy. It'll all be over then, and you can go. Here, right there. Just write your name on the dotted line. Have you got a pen, Jimmy?
Yes. Here, Kathy.
A child should have two parents anyhow, unless fate decides otherwise. A father to teach him to play ball, and how to sock a bully in the nose if he gets in a scrap after school.
And his mother to feed him and wash him, take care of him when he has the measles and chicken pox and the mumps.
A mother's hands are wonderful things, you know.
Yes.
A doctor can give medicine to a child with a fever, but it seems to work best when his mother's there to put a hand on his forehead or wet his lips.
Well, just sign the papers, Kathy.
It's a worry when a child gets ill, Kathy. Look at all the heartache you'll save. You'll never even know about it.
Where's my baby? Where is he?
Kathy, you can't see him again.
You tell me where he is. I want him. Nobody's going to take him away from me. Nobody.
He's just behind that door, Kathy, with a man who also wants him very much.
I want my baby. My baby. I want my... Oh, Walter. Walter.
Kathy. Oh, Kathy, honey.
Jimmy, I think we'd better take a little walk.
Yeah, I know just the place, Dr. G. Down in the basement where we can burn these adoption papers.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. And now, once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Well, Jimmy, a very sad day isn't so bad when it has a happy ending.
Kathy and Walter and the baby. I think it's going to work out fine.
But, well, Jimmy, look. The world's greatest pair of foster parents.
Very funny, Dr. Gillespie. I bid you good evening.
And don't you ever get me mixed up in one of your crazy schemes again.
Why, I won't be able to. Did you hear the news, Jimmy? Daddy Carew and Mama Parker are going to get married and move to Australia, where they can raise little kangaroos.
For your information, if I ever want to get married, I can find a better man than I'd ever find around this hospital.
Parker, you'd marry a rhinoceros if one proposed to you.
You horrible man. I have nothing further to say to you. Good night, Dr. Kildare.
Good night, Parker. Good night, Dr. Carew.
Can't have dinner with me, Jimmy?
Oh, I have a sort of a date with Diana.
Oh, well, all right. Run along then. Run along.
You might walk over to the nurse's quarters with me. Parker may have cooled off by the time we get there, and I know how you hate to eat alone.
Yeah. Well, I do hate eating alone.
And Parker recovers quickly.
I don't know, Jimmy. We better walk real slow.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Joel Murcott and directed by Joe Bigelow. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Supporting cast included Virginia Gregg, Ted Osborne, Georgia Ellis, Jack Crucian, Isabel Jewell, and Vic Perrin. Dick Joy speaking.
Coupon number 17, ration coupon 17. Are you planning to use your shoe ration coupon to buy white shoes? If so, give them the best of care. Keep them clean with Energine Shoe White. No shoe white can make your shoes look whiter than Energine Shoe White. It's made with the very whitest pigment known, and it spreads so easily, dries so evenly, it gives your shoes the neat, well-kept look they must have to give you the most satisfactory wear. For the best of care for the white shoes you wear, remember Energine Shoe White. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Our next broadcast is a radio mystery drama which ran from May 16th, 1942 until September 27th, 1955 on CBS Radio Network. The show was also broadcast in Chicago and over Armed Forces Radio. On the West Coast, it was sponsored by the Signal Oil Company. That whistle is your signal for the Signal Oil program. The program was also adapted into a film noir series by Columbia Pictures in 1944. Each episode began with the sound of footsteps and a person whistling. The haunting signature theme tune was composed by Wilbert Hatch and featured Dorothy Roberts whistling with an orchestra. We present to you The Whistler on HOJO Radio.
Have you heard the strange tales of the Whistler?
I'm the Whistler.
Look, I know I haven't a chance. I know that I can't live. I can tell by where that doctor looks at me. And you, too. Why don't you tell me the truth? Why don't you?
Friday night, and again, CBS presents The Whistler.
I, the Whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. And so I tell you tonight the unusual story of death in the air. A girl, a rather ordinary brunette of 18, plainly dressed, steps out of an elevator on the 14th floor of a swank apartment house and moves silently down the hall, pauses for a moment before a certain door, then turns the knob and steps inside. A handsome man of 35 jumps to his feet, stares at the girl a moment. Then she closes the door behind her.
Who are you? What do you want?
You don't know me. You never seen me before. But I know that you're Fred Blake.
Yes, I'm Fred Blake, so what? What's the idea of walking into my apartment?
I'm Mary Alberti.
Mary Alberti?
Does that name mean anything to you?
Why, lots of people are named Alberti.
Yeah. But I'm Mrs. Joe Alberti.
Joe Alberti?
Yeah. I thought that name would get a rise out of you.
What are you doing here?
Do you happen to know where my husband is at this moment?
Joe? Why, certainly I know where he is. Who doesn't? This morning he was sentenced. By now he's in the state pen.
Convicted of murder.
That's right.
A murder he didn't commit.
He was convicted. He had a trial.
But he's innocent. And you know it.
He held up the bank messenger. He shot him.
Then what became of the money?
How should I know?
Well, I know what became of the money. You have it.
How do you figure that?
Joe was working for you. As a chauffeur, he said. And I didn't know any different until he got into this jam. I didn't know what you were. Until he told me today. Just before he left.
Yeah, and what did he tell you?
That you were a gangster. And that he had nothing to do with the holdup or the murder. But that you planted the evidence on him. He was a fall guy.
Now, look, sister, I ran a couple of nightclubs and little gambling stuff. But I haven't yet gotten around to holdups and murders.
My husband wouldn't lie to me. He begged me to keep quiet about it. Because he was afraid if I made a fuss that you'd get rid of me.
What a wild imagination Joe has.
Joe told me the truth. Joe wouldn't lie to me.
The jury didn't believe his story.
He didn't tell him everything. He was afraid. Afraid for me.
Will you get out of here or shall I call the police?
Nobody knows what became of the $50,000 my husband was supposed to have taken. Nobody but me.
So?
So, since Joe's been convicted, I think I ought to have the use of the money. So fork over, Mr. Blake.
Well, of all the brainstorms, you expect me to give you $50,000?
I do. If Joe grabbed it, it belongs to him. And since Joe's gone, it all becomes mine.
Are you nuts?
I know you don't carry $50,000 around with you, but you can get it tomorrow in cash. So I'll give you till tomorrow at noon to hand it over. That's 12 hours, Mr. Blake.
And if I don't?
Then I'll kill you.
I see. Well, where can I locate you tomorrow by noon?
At my hotel?
Very well. Just take this notepad and write your name and address. And your phone number.
Okay. There. There you are. And bring it in person, Mr. Blake.
Oh, of course. I wouldn't want anybody else in on this.
And if you don't show up with the money tomorrow, well, I'll catch up with you sooner or later. You'll pay eventually. I know you will.
I think I'll run up to the penitentiary and have a talk with Joe. He's all mixed up.
He is mixed up. Not now.
No?
No, Mr. Blake. Joe's dead.
What?
Dead. Killed himself on the way to the pen. He knew he was stuck and he couldn't face it. You did that, Blake. You killed him. So now you're going to pay. Through the nose. Good night, you dirty rat.
For 10 minutes or so, Fred Blake sits at his desk, thinking, studying the peculiar situation. Then there comes a knock at the door. He steps across the room and... Yes, who is it?
Carl Winston.
What do you want, Carl?
I want to talk to you a minute.
Okay, come in. What's on your mind?
Well, I was told you wanted to see me.
Yes, Carl, I do. But I didn't expect you here at this time of night.
What do you want with me?
As if you didn't know. What are you going to do about this phony check?
Well, I hadn't got the money now, but I'll get it eventually.
I've given you a month. Now I want the money.
I'll get it. Really, I'll get it.
Well, if you can't get it, I can.
What do you mean?
Your father's district attorney of this county. I'll go to him. He'd pay it to hush it up.
Oh, please, Blake.
Or maybe I'd tell your father you ran up a liquor bill.
Look, Blake, I haven't got the money, but if you wait, I'll get it.
I've given you all the time I intend to. I want the money now.
Put up your hands, Blake.
Now, wait a minute. Don't try that bad man stuff on me. Put up that gun before you hurt somebody.
Give me that check. Hand it over.
Okay, Carl. But you're crazy.
Give me that check.
Sure. Here you are.
Let go. Get away from me. I'll kill you.
You crazy little fool.
Blake. Blake. Good Lord.
For many hours, Blake hovers between life and death. Several times he is revived from the coma sufficiently to answer questions of the detectives. Now, several days later, a week to be exact, the district attorney holds a conference.
Tell me, Blake, on the night you were shot, did you see your assailant?
No.
Do you remember anything that happened?
No, I remember the shot. Felt a stab of fire in my chest. Came to in a minute or so, I guess. Got to the phone and called the receiving hospital. And I passed out again.
And you didn't see the person?
No.
Blake, do you know a woman named Mary Alberti?
Yes.
Was she in your rooms the night you were shot?
Yes, how did you know?
On your date pad, we found her name and address and phone number. What time was she in your apartment?
Oh, about 12 o'clock, midnight.
And you were shot shortly after midnight.
That's right.
You think she did it?
I don't know who did it. That's for you to figure out.
What did Mary Alberti want? Why was she in your apartment?
Well, her husband Joe was my chauffeur. She wanted some money. She figured I'd help her out.
And did you?
Well, I told her I'd take care of her later.
Did you know Joe Alberti committed suicide?
Not until she told me.
Did Mary Alberti threaten you because you wouldn't give her some money at the moment?
Yeah, she did.
Do you think it was Mary who came back later and shot you?
I don't know. Could have been.
But she did threaten your life.
Yes, that's right.
Very well, Blake. There are witnesses to this conversation. It'll have to be repeated in court.
Okay, Winston.
You'll be notified about the trial.
Trial?
Certainly. I'm going to try Mary Alberti on attempted murder.
And so Mary Alberti is tried and convicted and sentenced for from 5 to 20 years. And now, 5 years, 5 long years have passed. Fred Blake has become wealthy, the boss of every racket in the county. And District Attorney Winston has been reelected on a new platform, a vice cleanup campaign. Fred Blake sends for the district attorney.
Come in, Winston. Sit down. Have a cigar?
Thanks. What's on your mind, Blake?
Well, I wanted to have a little talk with you, Winston, about your campaign.
Campaign is over. I've been reelected.
Yeah, but I mean your so-called cleanup campaign. When does that start, Winston?
It started the day I was reelected.
I see. My name at the head of your list?
I'm starting on you, Blake. And if I put you where you belong, well, that'll be a great accomplishment.
I think you're being foolish, Winston.
Do you? Why?
If you just dropped all this Puritan stuff, I could make it more than worth your while.
Blake, I was fortunate enough to be born the son of a very wealthy man. And money doesn't interest me in the least.
Money? Oh, no, not money. Something that's worth more to you than all the money in the world.
Blake, you couldn't bribe me no matter what you offered.
Mr. District Attorney, I'm going to change your mind in less than 1 minute.
All right, Blake. I'm listening.
5 years ago, you sent a girl to the penitentiary for attempted murder. My murder, remember? Well, you were wrong on that one. She didn't shoot me.
What? Then why didn't you say so?
I was saving it. Saving it for a rainy day.
What are you talking about?
The Alberti woman didn't do it. She was in my apartment that night, but she left. And a man came in. He owed me some money. He didn't have it. I threatened to tell his father that he had lost at gambling, and he went crazy. Pulled a gun and shot me.
Who was this man?
Your son, Carl.
Carl? I don't believe it.
Oh, but I can prove it. Look at this. His phony check. That's why he came to my apartment. He demanded the check. We scuffled when he pulled a gun. I hit him, and then he shot me. He left in such a hurry that he forgot the check.
I see.
But there's something more important than the check.
Yes? What?
A gun. A revolver.
Whose gun?
Take a look at it. 1 shot fired. Recognize that gun?
Why, yes, it's mine.
If ballistics were to check this gun and compare the bullet taken from my chest, they'd find a definite similarity in rifle markings.
I see.
Well, that's all there is to it. What do you say now, Mr. Winston?
You've really got me in a tough spot, haven't you, Blake?
If you care anything about your son or his future, you forget this cleanup business.
All right, Blake, I'll think it over. It's something that can't be decided in a moment.
Good night, Winston.
The cleanup campaign is dropped, and Fred Blake flourishes. He opens more gambling clubs, grows wealthier and wealthier. And a year later, he is a popular figure in the swank set of a southern beach resort. At the moment, Fred is a weekend guest at the beach home of one of the wealthy 400.
Oh, what a perfectly divine night.
Yes, Anitra, I've never seen such a moon.
So peaceful and quiet here on the beach. I didn't want to dance anymore.
Well, let's sit down here on these rocks.
All right.
Anitra,
Yes, Fred? What were you going to say?
are you going back to Boston Sunday?
Why, I don't know. I haven't decided. I've a few more weeks, but I really should get back. The magazine's so understaffed, and I've a world of illustrations to do. Why do you ask, Fred?
Well, I thought if you didn't have to go back, you might come over to my place for a week.
Your place? Oh, but Fred,
Yes, I'm having some guests down for a week. Several couples from New York.
Well, I don't know. I really should get back.
Please come, Anitra. Please do.
Well, it's very sweet of you.
Anitra, I really want you to come. Because,
Yes?
you know, the way the moon shines on your hair, it looks just like spun gold.
Does it? Is that what you were going to say?
No. There are a lot of things I want to say. Do you realize what a beautiful girl you are, Anitra? I mean it. From the moment I first saw you, you knocked the props right out from under me. Nothing else exists. Nothing else matters.
Nothing but you, Anitra.
But, Fred,
I'm wild about you. Crazy.
Please, Fred, we better go back.
You've got to listen, darling. I love you.
Are you asking me to...
Yes. I want you to marry me.
But I'm a career woman. You don't want a career woman for a wife. Besides, we've only known each other for a few days.
I don't care, career or not. 2 days or 2 hours. I love you.
Let's get back to the house. Come on.
You mean you don't like me? Is that it? Or is it some other man?
No, I do like you very much, and there's no other man, but... Well, I'll have to think about it. If I marry, I know I'll give up my work, and I'm not sure I want to do that.
I see. Well, will you at least make me happy by joining the party at my place for a week?
Yes, I'll come, Fred. I'll stay here for another week, but please don't high pressure me. Let me make up my own mind. Promise?
It's a deal. Shall we seal it?
Certainly.
With a kiss?
Fred, Please.
I love you, Anitra.
Let's go back to the house, please.
But Fred doesn't keep his promise. Fred isn't the type. When he wants a thing, nothing can change his mind. And by the time the week is up, Fred has made up Anitra's mind. They are married and decide to spend their honeymoon in Florida. But a few weeks later, their honeymoon is interrupted. Fred is stricken with an illness.
In this room, Dr. Phillips.
Thank you.
Fred.
Yes, darling?
This is Dr. Phillips.
Yes?
Well, Mr. Blake, what seems to be the trouble?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Dr. Phillips is a specialist from Miami.
Yes?
Suppose you tell me a few things, Mr. Blake.
Well, I'm afraid it's some sort of paralysis.
Paralysis?
Yes.
What makes you think that?
Well, the first time it hit me, I got kind of faint. My feet and legs became numb, sort of crept up on me. At first it wasn't so bad, but the next time it came, it affected my hands and arms, too. I got dizzy and I passed out.
Oh, I see. You become nauseated, Mr. Blake?
No. But after the attacks, I'm so exhausted, I can't even get out of bed.
Well, I'd better give you a thorough examination.
What do you think it is, Doctor?
Well, I don't know at the moment.
Do you think it's serious?
Any interruption in the functions may be serious.
Do you think it would be best to take him to a hospital, Doctor?
I don't know yet.
No, darling, please. I'd rather stay here with you.
Yes, dear, of course, whatever you say.
Please, Mrs. Blake, would you mind stepping out for a while?
Very well. I'll be in my room. Call me when you're finished. Everything's going to be all right, dear. Please don't worry.
Yes, I'll be all right.
May I come in?
Oh, yes. Come in, Mrs. Blake. I've finished.
It's been an hour. I just couldn't wait any longer.
Quite all right.
How do you feel, Fred?
Well, a little better, I guess. He pounded me and thumped and listened, but I don't think he knows himself. I do feel better. I'm going to get up and walk around.
Mr. Blake, I'd advise you remain as quiet as possible.
Why?
If you attempt to move about, I'll have to withdraw from this case.
What have you discovered? What is it?
Just relax.
Why don't you say it? Why keep it a secret? I'm entitled to know. Spill it!
Now, please, Fred, darling, please don't get excited. What is it, Doctor? Do you know?
Mrs. Blake, I'd like a few words with you. Step over here to the window.
Why, yes, of course, Doctor.
Very sorry.
I believe that.
Well? What are you talking about? Why go over there and mumble? Why don't you say it and be done with it? Did you hear me? What are you mumbling about?
Oh, Doctor, no.
What are you telling her, you quack? Why don't you tell me?
No, please, Mrs. Blake. Now, please be calm. I had to tell you.
If you don't tell me what you're talking about, I'll get out of this bed and brain you.
Oh, no, please. Darling, please don't get up. No, you mustn't.
Mr. Blake, I advise you to stay in that bed and control your temper. You're in no condition to withstand any form of excitement.
No? Then you know what's wrong with me?
I do. And believe me, if you want to recover, you'd best remain as quiet as possible.
It's that serious?
You have a chance, Mr. Blake. And that small chance depends mostly upon you yourself. I'll do my best, but it mostly depends on you.
Is it paralysis?
The knowledge of what it is will not help you. It is better that you think as little about it as possible. Good night, Mr. Blake. Good night, Mr. Blake.
Anitra, what did he say?
Oh, Fred. Fred, you must try not to...
Another week passes, and Fred still remains in bed. He has had several more attacks, each one a bit more severe than the last. The doctor has made several visits, and Fred is now terribly frightened by the doctor's concern regarding his progress. Shortly before midnight, Fred feels another spell coming on, a little more severe.
Anitra!
Oh, yes, darling. Yes, Fred.
I'm getting fainted. It's coming on again. Get the doctor.
Oh, yes, Fred. I've already called him. He'll be here in a few moments. Now, be quiet, dear. Please, don't exert yourself.
This is the worst yet.
Please, be calm. You're all right.
No, I'm scared. This is it. I know this is the end.
Oh, Fred. Fred, don't say that.
I can tell.
No, you've nothing to fear, darling. Nothing.
I have. I can't help it. I'm afraid.
Fred, you must get hold of yourself. You must.
I know I haven't a chance. You know that. The doctor knows. He told you. I know, too.
Oh, please, Fred.
There's something I've got to tell.
Hush, darling.
You don't understand. I've got to tell someone.
Oh, you must calm yourself.
You've got to listen to me. You've got to.
Well, the doctor will be here in just a few moments. Now, please try to save your strength, darling.
He can't help me.
Oh, come in.
I came as quickly as I could, Mrs. Blake.
It's another attack, Doctor. It seems to be worse than the last. He's terribly frightened.
Come now, Blake. You must try to get hold of yourself. The pulse is... Well...
Pulse is what?
Just a second. My bag, please.
Yes, Doctor.
Thank you. Now, let's have a listen to the stethoscope. Mm-hmm. Do you have a chill, Blake?
I don't know. I'm just awful numb. It's creeping up inch by inch.
Oh, please, Doctor. Can't we take him to a hospital?
A hospital? I'm afraid that... Well, he's as well off here as in the hospital.
Why don't you tell me the truth? I've got a right to know. Tell me the truth.
Now, you're going to be all right, Blake.
You're lying.
Mrs. Blake,
Yes, Doctor. What did you start to say?
well...
Tell me. I've got to know.
Yes, Fred. Oh, tell us, Doctor. There's no use evading the issue. Fred wants to know.
Very well. Since you insist, there is nothing I can do for you, Mr. Blake. Nothing anyone can do for you.
You mean it's a matter of days?
It may be only a matter of hours. I'm sorry, Blake.
Hours. Anitra.
Oh, darling, I knew, but I just couldn't let you know.
Hours. Doctor, will you leave us alone for a while?
Of course.
Oh, please, don't leave the house, Doctor.
No, I'll stay with you as long as you need me. I'll be in the hall. You call me if you want.
Anitra, get a sheet of paper and write what I tell you.
Yes, sir.
And please hurry, Anitra.
Of course, dear. Yeah, I'm ready.
To District Attorney Frank Winston.
District Attorney?
I never thought I'd do this, but here it is. Joe Alberti was innocent in the killing of the bank messenger. He was framed. I killed the messenger and framed Joe.
Fred.
And Joe's wife is innocent of trying to kill me. She didn't shoot me, and I want her released. I'm enclosing a check for $10,000 for her. And furthermore, what I told you about your son was a lie. He didn't shoot me either. He did come to my room. He had a gun. I took it away from him. And in the scuffle, gun went off. I shot myself. So that clears everything up. Now you can start your campaign. But I won't be around to participate. Yours, Fred Blake.
Fred? Are you out of your mind? What? No, this is ridiculous. I won't turn this over to the district attorney. I won't.
Please, Anitra, please do. can't die. I just can't unless I know. Please. You've got to do it. Hand me the pen. I've got to sign it before my hands go numb.
Oh, no. No, don't sign it. Please don't. It isn't true.
It is true. Every word. Hold it. There. Oh, darling. You don't know what a relief this is.
All right, Fred. I'll do as you say. Oh, darling, I don't care what you've done. You've been so good to me. But if you want me to turn this over, I will.
I do.
Oh, Doctor! Doctor! Quick, Doctor!
You're too late, Doctor. Everything's okay now.
Well, it's all over. All over. I was fortunate in getting a plane within half an hour after you phoned me, Mrs. Blake.
I understand, and I appreciate your coming.
Well, what is this about Fred Blake?
Well, Fred has been ill for several weeks, and last night, well, he got worse, became frightened, and made me take down this letter. He signed it, and then...
Letter?
Yes, you may read it. It's addressed to you. And I promised him I'd see that you got it.
I see. District Attorney... Joe Alberti. And what's this? Carl. Out of all things. I had a hunch this would clear up sooner or later, but how, I hadn't the slightest idea.
And here's the check for $10,000 to Mary Alberti. Will you see that she gets it and is released from prison?
Mrs. Blake, Mary Alberti was paroled over a year ago. You keep the check and I'll locate her for you. You can give it to her.
Do you know where she can be found?
I have a pretty good idea. Now, may I see your husband? I'd like to be sure that he is the Fred Blake.
Yes, of course. This way.
Yes, he's the real Fred Blake. That's all I wanted to know.
Anitra. Is that you, Anitra?
Good Lord, I thought he was dead.
What is this? Where am I?
Blake!
Doctor, what happened?
I'm not a doctor.
No, then who are you?
I'm District Attorney Winston.
Winston? What are you doing here? Where am I?
You're in your bed, but you're on your way to jail.
Jail? Are you crazy? I'm sick. I'm dying.
You may be right about that.
He isn't dying. It's all in his imagination.
Yeah? Get up out of that bed.
But I can't walk.
Then we'll carry you. All right, Murphy. Come in and carry him out.
Yes, sir. Come on, Jim. We'll make a saddle seat for him.
I'm sick, I tell you. I'm dying.
You're taking a plane ride north, whether you're dying or not. You signed this confession, didn't you?
What? Yes. But you weren't supposed to get that till I was dead. Why didn't you wait, Anitra?
Bring him along.
You'll never convict me. You'll never get that far because I'll be dead.
Come on, boys. Take him to the car.
Anitra, why don't you tell them? It's all a mistake. They can't do this. Tell him.
Tell them what?
Well, I'm dying.
What can I do, Fred? I did just as you asked me to do. I can't do a thing now. It's too late.
What's happened to you? What's happened?
Nothing. I've never been so satisfied in my life.
What?
I said this is the happiest moment of my life. Now get up, Fred. You can walk. You're stalling. There's nothing wrong with you.
You're crazy.
No, she's not crazy. She's clever. I've tried for over a year to work this thing out, and she did it all by herself. Yes, Blake, Mary Alberti, now known as Mrs. Anitra Blake, is a very clever woman.
Well, there you are. Mary Alberti, alias Anitra Blake, was a clever woman. She knew that her husband Joe was innocent, and when she was sent to prison for shooting Fred Blake, she made up her mind to eventually get out on good behavior. So she studied art, glamorized herself, changed her speech and appearance, and worked her way into the circles frequented by Fred. And everything worked out just as she planned. There was nothing wrong with Fred. He wasn't ill and he wasn't dying. Just a few grains of medicine each day was all that was necessary to bring on that numbness. And the doctor? Well, he wasn't a doctor. No, he was really the brother of her husband, the brother of Joe Alberti.
CBS has presented The Whistler. Original music for this production was composed by Wilbur Hatch and conducted by Ivan Ditmars. The Whistler is written and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originates from Columbia Square in Hollywood. Next week, same time,
I, the Whistler, will return to tell you another unusual story. Good night.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Constipation can be a problem for anyone, even doctors. And when constipation occurs, it's interesting to see just what doctors consider important about a laxative they might use or recommend. Well, a majority of the doctors we heard from had this to say.
A laxative should be effective, gentle, close to natural acting. A medicine that can be used with complete confidence.
Now, X-Lax has been popular with many doctors and millions of people over the years because chocolated X-Lax is effective. Overnight, it helps you toward your normal regularity. X-Lax is so gentle, so close to natural acting, there's no upset. That's why many doctors and millions of people use X-Lax with complete confidence. X-Lax, the laxative that helps you toward your normal regularity, gently, overnight.
Stay tuned to HOJO Radio.
Have you heard the strange tales of the Whistler?
I'm the Whistler.
I have as much freedom as a squirrel in a cage. Martha is a cold, mercenary devil. But I'll have freedom beginning tonight. I'll kill her.
Friday night, and again, CBS presents The Whistler.
I, the Whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. And so I tell you tonight the amazing story of destiny. At a long table in a New York office sits a little man. He is slightly bald and thin and 45. A mild-mannered, reticent little fellow named Milton Strong. But Milton is anything but strong. For the past 25 years, he has worked in the office, and now, as a bookkeeper, is earning the stupendous salary of $35 a week. Milton can't understand why no one appreciates his ability. Milton has grown a bit sour, but he's never had the nerve to ask for a raise. Today, however, is going to be different. His wife has started him out with a lecture, and Milton is going to face the boss in a manner both clear and strong.
Mr. Goulthright, I'd like to have a word with you.
A word?
Mr. Goulthright, it has long been my decision to approach you on this subject, but for various reasons, a sense of reticence has bade me be silent.
How long did it take you to memorize that, Milton?
I am 45 years old. I've worked hard and long and faithfully for this company.
That's right, Milton. I'm aware of that. You haven't missed a day in all that time. In fact, our efficiency expert is getting out a booklet, and he's using you as the feature.
I came to this firm as a lad of 20, and in all the following 25 years, I asked for very little. I did my work well.
Sure you did, Milton, and the company appreciates it.
I now draw a salary of $35 a week, and I thought that if, after all this time, 25 years, you could see your way clear to afford,
Go on, Milton.
To afford, well, I'm not getting any younger.
Well, Milton, strange as it seems, I've just come from a meeting of the department heads. Mr. Unger is the head of the accounting department, and, now, let me see. Oh, yes, here it is. Yes, here is his recommendation regarding you, Milton.
Oh, yes, Mr. Goldthwait.
He recommends that you be retired at half salary, as of the first of the month, in consideration of your long service and loyalty to the company.
Retired? Oh, but that can't be. Retired?
Well, that's what it says here.
But I don't understand. I'm only 45. Why, no one is retired until he's at
Why,
least...
you should be tickled to death. It's like a pension.
But I came here to ask for a raise.
A raise? Well, how could that be possible when your department head suggests retirement?
Oh, I see.
Why, you should be tickled to death. I'd be, and you get 2 weeks full salary and 2 weeks vacation besides at full pay. You know, Milton, I kind of envy you.
So I'm fired.
Fired? Why, that's crazy. You've been honored.
Good night, Mr. Goldthwait.
Good night, Milton. After Saturday, you've got nothing to worry about. Nothing.
And so poor Milton Strong walks out of the big office and starts home. All the way, his feeling of apprehension increases. His wife, Martha, what will she say? It was his wife who stirred him to the point of demanding a raise. Finally, Milton gets up nerve enough to go home. Home to certain death at the hands of Martha.
That you, Milton?
Yes, it's me, Martha.
Well, where on earth have you been? Can't you ever get it into your head that when I say dinner will be ready by 6, I mean it?
Things happen sometimes to delay me, Martha.
Delay you? Huh. I'd like to know what could happen to make you this late.
But you see, I took some time to talk to you.
What do you mean by coming in this house with that mud on your shoes? Get outside and take those rubbers off.
Yes, I forgot.
Yeah, you'd forget your head if it wasn't tied on.
Yes, Martha, I'll take them off.
And what do you mean coming into the house smoking that stinking pipe? Get it outside, you hear?
Yes, Martha, but I started to tell you.
Oh, go on out. If you insist on smoking, do it outside.
I'll put it out, Martha. I'll put it out.
The dinner's cold and you can eat it that way.
Martha, I couldn't help it. I went to talk to Mr. Goldthwait about the raise.
Yeah? What happened?
Well, you see, I'm a little along in years.
Along in years? Is that what he said?
No, he didn't say it. The head of the department had made a recommendation.
For what?
Well, now, don't get excited, Martha. I went in to ask for a raise, as you said, and, well, everything had been arranged.
Well, did you get the raise?
No. I've been retired on half salary.
Retired? Retired? At your age? Are you crazy? Why did you accept? Why?
Accept? What could I do?
So, you went in to ask for a raise, and you let them throw you out right into the ass.
Oh, what could I do? It was all arranged.
Retired at half salary, $17.50 a week. And you stood there like a nitwit and let them put that over on you.
But, Martha...
You stupid, spineless jellyfish.
What could I do?
You let them push you around for 25 years. You could have been in Goodright's job right now. But you're afraid to open up your mouth.
I went to his office to demand a raise, but he beat me to it.
Yeah, that's always been the trouble, Milton Strong. Somebody's always beat you to it. Spoke up first. Huh. Retired. $17.50 a week. An old man. And how are you going to manage on $17.50 a week?
Well, I suppose I can find something else.
I'd like to know what.
I'll find something, and until I do, well, your sister left you $1,500 last...
What did you say?
Nothing. That is...
If you think I'm going to touch $1 of that money while you're still able to stand on 2 feet, you're crazy.
But until I get
It's
something...
in the bank and it'll stay there.
Well...
And if you want to smoke that filthy pipe, get outside.
Yes, Mom. I'll go outside.
If you want anything to eat, it's on the kitchen table.
I don't want anything.
What?
I'll eat it later. After a while, Martha. I want to think.
Think? Don't wear yourself out. I'm going to bed. Good night. I said good night.
Yes. Good night, Martha. Good night.
It is long past midnight, and Milton has been sitting by the window, staring into the night. Resentment has taken hold of him, and slowly grown into hatred and revenge. Terrible thoughts surge through his brain.
Why should I tolerate such persecution? Why should I stand idly by and be pushed around by everyone? Belittled by the firm? Bulldozed by Martha? She's not a wife. She's a cold, mercenary devil. Freedom. I have as much freedom as a squirrel in a cage. Appreciation, loyalty, 25 years of it. And what do I get? But I'll have freedom. I will have it. Beginning tonight, I'll kill her. I'll go far away. No one will ever know what's come of me.
Trembling in anticipation, Milton goes into the small kitchen, opens a drawer, and steps softly to Martha's room. opens her door and stands listening to her easy breathing. Then Milton leaves the house and wanders about the streets till dawn. Then at 10 in the morning, he steps into the bank.
Good morning, Mr. Strong.
Oh, I'd like to cash this check, please.
I see. Purchasing some property, Mr. Strong?
Yes.
Well, just a second. Oh, very well. How do you want it?
Oh, but it doesn't matter. Perhaps the small bills would be best.
Oh, yes, of course. This is 3, 4, 15. Ah, there you are.
Thank you. Good morning.
Several days later, Milton Strong gets off a train in a western state, takes a small bus for a little mining town 50 miles away. Here in this vast desert country, he will begin a new life, a life of freedom. He will change his name, change his destiny. Milton Strong has ceased to exist. A new man is born. The little bus bounces into Oroville, and 2 hours later, he is chatting with a prospector in the Gold Plate Bar.
Well, I'll tell you, partner, I've been here a couple of years and I haven't struck much yet. Oh, I found a little pay dirt, enough to get along.
There's supposed to be quite a lot of gold here, isn't there?
Oh, sure, it's here. It's all over. Sometimes you strike in a day or so, and then sometimes you work for years. And if a man ain't got capital of his own, well, somebody's got to grub stake him. But it's here.
In other words, it's a matter of being optimistic.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Well, I think I'd like to try it. Of course, I don't know anything about mining. But...
Oh, you don't have to know in this country. It's easy. Anybody can tell gold when he sees it. Where are you from?
Los Angeles. I had to come here. The doctor said I should get away from the ocean air.
You don't look sick.
Well, I was fortunate to have a checkup in time. I'd like to find a place and try my hand at it.
You mean fireplace?
Yes.
Well, I got a nice place. 3-room cabin, good water. There's ore there. If you got the patience.
You mean you want to quit?
Well, no, I don't want to. But I'm out of funds. I owe everybody in town, so I ain't got a choice. And the fellow who gets it will probably be the one to hit dirt in a week.
Is it far from town?
About 25 miles. Kind of lonely for a fellow alone.
Mm-hmm. But could I see the place?
Sure. I ain't been up there for a week. Been staying here in town while my wife went to Sacramento to try to raise a little money from her uncle. She just got back this morning. She's doing a little shopping now.
Did she raise any money?
No, just enough to eat on for a few weeks. But we decided to pull out. Besides, I hurt my arm last week.
Oh, but I'd like to look the place over.
Well, here I am. Believe me, I'm ready to go. I'm dead tired.
Oh, Kate, this is a gentleman who wants to look the claim over. Thought we might take him with us now.
Oh? Well, sure, why not?
Now, this is my wife, Kate Rogers.
Oh, yeah, how do you do?
Stranger here?
That's right.
Well, they must be on our way. I'm sure you'll like the place.
The car's just around the corner. Do you want to get your bags?
They're up by the door. I haven't been to a hotel yet.
That's good. We'll be to the place in about an hour.
Well, this is it, friend.
It looks fine from here.
And have a look inside. And tomorrow my husband can take you over the claim. There are 3 rooms. Living room, bedroom, kitchen. All fairly good size.
Well, that should certainly be enough for one man.
You're not married?
No, I'm alone.
Just a minute, I'll light the lamp. No electricity up here. Nothing else modern, for that matter.
Well, I understand. Yes, it's very nice. I like it.
Plenty of good water for drinking and sluicing. The air's wonderful. That should interest you.
Air? Something wrong with you, stranger?
Yes, well, just a little touch of lung trouble. Oh, by the way, Mr. Rogers, how did you injure your arm? I noticed it's in a sling.
Oh, it was my own darn fault. Kate warned me about digging on that ledge. I fell off and, well, I didn't break it, but the cuts just don't seem to heal up.
Oh, I see.
Now, to get back to the property, I'm pretty sure there's ore on it. Rich ore. And there's plenty of game around here.
Come on, take a look at the bedroom and the kitchen.
This is the bedroom.
Steve!
And,
Steve!
Oh, what's the matter, Kate?
Look, Steve! Look!
Yeah? Oh, steady, Kate. Take it easy.
But who is he?
I don't know. But he's dead, whoever he is.
Dead?
He's been shot. No blood around here that I can see. Must have been shot someplace else and made his way to our place.
But who is he?
I don't know. Never seen him before. According to his clothes, I'd say he was from out of town. Man from some city, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he must be.
45 or 50, I'd say.
Steve, we better go back to town and get the sheriff.
Yeah, I guess so. Somebody should stay here. You'll have to drive me in, Kate, unless you can drive, mister.
Oh, no. I never drove a car in my life.
You mind staying here?
No, I'll stay.
Then come on, Steve, let's go.
For 20 minutes after the departure of the prospector and his wife, Milton stares at the body of the dead man. Then, slowly, the realization comes upon him. The man is about his own age, his own size, from the city. And most amazing thing of all, he looks like Milton. A stranger, no one knows his name. But no one knows Milton's name. He hadn't mentioned his name once. Suddenly, he steps to the body and goes through the pockets. He finds identification. Harry Jacobs. Then, in another pocket, he finds...
Good Lord. Money, bills. What there must be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why, there's $20,000 here. $20,000. And no one knows who he is.
Quickly, Milton reaches a decision. He exchanges papers with the corpse of Harry Jacobs, replaces some of the money in Harry Jacobs' pockets, and keeps some for himself. Then, 2 hours later, the Rogers return with the sheriff.
Know who he is, Sheriff?
Nope. Never saw him before. I'd say he was shot about 10 or 12 hours ago.
How long do you think he's been dead?
Maybe 6 hours.
Well, from all appearances, he wasn't shot here. We ain't been here for a week, you know.
Well, let's see if he's got any identification on him.
I'd say he was from out of town, from the city.
Who are you?
Oh, this gentleman is our guest. He's looking the place over with the idea of buying it.
I see. Well, here we are. This man's name is Milton Strong, New York City. Now, wait a minute. Look at this. A package of banknotes. Money wrapped in bands. Hey, read the printing on those bands.
First State Bank of Oroville.
Oh, what do you know? This must be the fellow that robbed the bank in town this afternoon.
What? Robbed the bank?
Sure, ain't you heard? Killed the cashier and got away with $20,000. Vice president shot at him, but he got away. Well, there's probably somebody with him. We don't know for sure.
How much they get from the bank?
$20,000.
How much is there?
Well, let's see. Hey, there's only $10,000 here. Now, what do you make of that? Well, so far as we know, there was only one bandit. Now, where do you suppose the other $10,000 disappeared to? Well, maybe he had a cohort after all. Milton Strong, eh? Well, we'll just get back to town and notify the authorities in New York.
The authorities? What about his family?
The police in New York will take care of that. Well, that's that. I'll return the money. You can bury him, Rogers.
Bury him? Here?
Well, certainly. What else could we do? There's no undertaker in Oroville. Body wouldn't keep any time in this heat. Well, thanks, Rogers. I'll be getting back to town.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Yeah, what did you say your name was, stranger?
Oh, it's Jacobs. Harry Jacobs.
I see. Well, so long, folks.
So, next morning, Milton Strong, the bank bandit, is buried in the sand at the edge of the claim. Yes, Milton Strong is no more. He is now known as Harry Jacobs. In the afternoon, Rogers shows him over the property and explains his potentialities. He still hasn't decided, and after dinner leaves the cabin again.
Where's he gone now, Steve?
Oh, he's wandering around by himself, trying to make up his mind if he wants a place.
Sure is strange acting, Galoot.
I'm just a bit suspicious of him, Kate. He said he came from Los Angeles. But how do we know?
Yeah, that's right. How do we know?
I don't think he's here for his health. And I don't think he's a darn bit interested in prospecting.
Steve, what do you think? Tell me.
Well, I went all over the property again.
Yeah? Well, you wear yourself out hiking around like that.
Mr. Rogers, I've made up my mind. I'll take the place.
Yeah? Well, now I'll tell you. Kate and I have been talking things over, and, well, it'd take a good deal to buy the place and finance the workings properly.
I've got plenty of cash, and I want the place to myself.
Yeah? You got the money with you or in a bank?
Yes, I have some with me. Enough, I'm sure, to handle the deal.
You say you came from Los Angeles?
Yes.
You're a funny-acting fella, Jacobs. A little too quiet for my likes. Don't talk much. Just what happened in Los Angeles?
Oh, what do you mean?
You said you came here for your health. If it's lung trouble, as you said, then Why don't you cough any?
Oh, well, you see...
Yeah, got any identification on you, Jacobs?
Oh, yes, of course.
I'd like to see it if you don't mind.
Yes. There you are.
Harry Jacobs. New York City. New York, eh? Thought you said Los Angeles.
Well, I came from New York to Los Angeles. I wasn't in California very long.
And you got plenty of cash with you?
Oh, yes, enough. How much do you want?
Oh, 3,000 will do it.
What? 3? Well, that seems like a large price for this place.
You want it, don't you, Jacobs? Real bad?
Oh, yes. I'd like to have it.
All right. You and me'll drive into town in the morning and have the lawyer drop the papers.
Yes, all right. Yes. Well, I think I'll go to bed now. It's a bit late. So, good night.
What do you think, Steve?
He's got the cash with him.
This place ain't worth 3,000.
I know. But if he's got that much, then he's got a lot more.
Shall we... Well, I could slip into...
No. Just leave everything to me.
But Milton doesn't sleep well. The strange attitude of Rogers and his wife makes him uneasy. Next morning he is up at 8 and finds Kate Rogers in the kitchen.
Oh, good morning, Mrs. Rogers.
Morning.
Where's, Mr. Rogers?
Why, he drove into town to get the lawyer. He didn't want to disturb you so early.
What?
He's going to have the papers made out and bring them back with him.
Oh, I thought he couldn't drive.
Well, his arm's so much better, he figured he'd be all right.
Mm-hmm. How soon will he be back?
Should have been here half hour ago. It's 9 o'clock. Oh, there he is now. How about some breakfast?
Oh, yes.
So you up, are you, Jacobs?
Yes. Did you get the papers arranged?
We don't have to sign any papers, Jacobs. I won't be selling the place.
Why not?
I don't have to. I'll have all the money I need in a few days.
But you said that you...
I haven't been to any lawyers. I've been to the sheriff's office. Sent a wire to New York. And I got an answer.
What? A wire? Well, what about it?
Put up your hands, Jacobs. Put them up. You may be a mild-looking little guy, but I'm taking no chances with a killer.
What did you say?
You're wanted by the New York police for banditry and murder.
Oh, no, but it's a mistake.
Here's the telegram. Your description. Read it.
Yes, I will. Harry Jacobs, 45, 5 feet 6, as per your description. Wanted for robbery and murder of bank messenger. $10,000 reward. Dead or alive.
$10,000 reward. Get that?
No. It's all a mistake. You don't understand.
I understand, all right. You and your partner came out here to hide out. Probably robbed a half dozen banks on the way.
Partner? What partner?
The fellow we buried the other day. That Milton Strong. The sheriff said there must have been 2 bandits, and there was only 10,000 on him. What'd become of the other 10,000?
I tell you, I had nothing to do with the holdup.
You carry too much cash on you, Jacobs. If you got 3,000, you must have more. You were too anxious to get this place, and it ain't worth more than 1,000.
Yes, but you're wrong, Rogers.
You're going back to town with me, Jacobs. I'm collecting that 10,000 reward.
No, please, no, don't take me back. I can't go back to New York. I can't.
I can imagine that. They'll fry you.
You've got to listen to me. You've just got to...
Search your stuff, Kate. He's got the money someplace.
No, wait. I've got the money. And here it is. The money from the bank. There.
Steve, that's it. The same bank wrappers. And yeah, it's 10,000. No, there's more. Another 1,000.
The 10,000 of the wrappers belongs to the bank. The rest is mine.
That's all we need to know, Jacobs. Come on. And I hope the sheriff don't spill this before you're locked up. The town would tear you to pieces.
No, look, just listen to me. I swear, I never saw that dead man in my life. I did come here to get away from embarrassing circumstances. I wanted to lose myself. After you went for the sheriff, I searched the man's pockets. I found his identification. And because he resembled me, I switched his papers with mine. And then I found the money. I decided to keep some of it. I am Milton Strong, and the dead man was Harry Jacobs.
What a story. Who'd believe that?
Don't send me back to New York. There's no reward for me. The truth would come out and you wouldn't get a dime. Now, here, you keep this money I took from the robber and let me go. No one will ever know the difference.
Oh, no. I'm not that dumb. I'll turn you and the money in and collect the reward. I'd rather get it legally. Come on, Jacobs, before the town gets wise.
Milton is handed over to the sheriff and locked up in the flimsy jail. They have wired New York, and a detective with extradition papers is flying west. But unfortunately, the word has gotten around town that the jail holds the murderer of the bank cashier. A crowd of men, silent men, has gathered in the front of the jail.
I don't know what we're going to do about this, Rogers. Are you sure you didn't say anything about it?
I didn't say a word. I don't know how they found out about it, but maybe some of your deputies told me.
I warned them not to say a word. I don't mind crowds that shout and yell. But I am afraid of the crowd that just stands and says nothing.
They're sure on the warpath.
Yeah. That detective from New York should have been here an hour ago. I sent a car to meet the plane.
Maybe the plane was late.
Yeah. Well, if the crowd starts anything, somebody's going to get hurt. Hey, you fellas better get your shotguns ready. They might break out any minute. Well, Jacobs, got anything more to say?
But I've told you that I'm Milton Strong. I had nothing to do with the bank holdup.
Well, that crowd looks surly, so I guess I better put you back in your cell.
Wait a minute. Here comes your car, Sheriff.
It's about time. Go out and tell Jake the driver to stay around the back of the jail and stay in the car. Don't let that crowd know what he's doing.
Right, Sheriff. I get you. You Sheriff Talbot?
That's right, and I'm mighty glad to see you.
I'm at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. Now, let's get down to business. The crowd outside's going to get impatient pretty soon.
Crowd? What do they want?
What they call justice. This fella here held up the bank and killed the cashier. But I wanted to be sure he was Harry Jacobs. He had identification on him, but he claims he's Milton Strong.
Milton Strong?
Yeah. We buried Milton Strong several days ago. He found part of the bank money on his body.
Milton Strong?
Yeah. But if he's really Harry Jacobs, I'd prefer you get him out of here and deal with him in New York. I had one lynch in here, and I don't want another.
But he isn't Harry Jacobs. I knew Harry personally. He ain't Harry Jacobs.
No, but he is Milton Strong. Harry Jacobs was a professional holdup, but not Milton Strong.
Then we really buried Harry Jacobs.
What do you mean?
I took this fellow to my claim with the idea of selling it to him.
Yeah.
We found a dead man in my cabin. I came after the sheriff, and this fellow claimed that while we were gone, he exchanged papers with the dead man.
Well, from all appearances, that's just what he did.
Yeah, but why should he do that?
Well, Milton Strong is wanted in New York, too.
I'm wanted in New York? What for?
As if you didn't know.
Oh, what's he done? What's he wanted for?
Hey, that crowd is starting. Get him out of here. Hurry. Out the back way. The car's waiting.
Let's go, Milton.
You can catch 11:30 train. I'll stall them off as long as I can.
All the way back to New York, Lieutenant Clark will not talk. They ride across the country in utter silence. And 3 days later, Milton sits in the office of Inspector Burns of the New York Police.
Milton, on the morning of July 20th, did you cash a check at a bank at 21st and Lexington?
Yes, I did.
A check made out to you by your wife?
Yes.
Are you sure your wife wrote that check?
Well, yes, she did.
Why did you leave town the same day?
Well, I went on a vacation.
Why didn't your wife go with you? Why?
Well, because I wanted to be alone. That is...
You might as well tell the truth, Milton. You haven't a chance to get out of it.
But I didn't.
Sorry, Milton, but we have proof. We have a witness.
A witness?
Yes. Bring in the witness, Lieutenant.
Come in, please.
Where have you been, Milton?
Oh, Martha!
Why didn't you let me know where you were?
Oh, please, Martha. Let's don't talk about it here.
What are you doing in Arizona?
I was just taking a little vacation. I was going to write you. I tried to buy a cabin in the mountains. For you. And me, Martha. For us.
What? Don't you dare light that pipe.
No. No, Martha. I've quit smoking. I wasn't even conscious of what I was doing.
And what are you doing without your rubbers? You know it's raining.
Well, I took them off outside, Martha.
Come on, Milton. Let's go home. I have a few things to talk over with you.
Yes, darling.
Well, come on. Get up out of that chair.
Yes, darling.
Just a minute. What about this charge, this check forgery?
Forgery? Oh. I wrote that check. I remember the whole thing now.
Then what about the charge of wife desertion?
He's come back, hasn't he?
But we brought him back.
Well, I wrote the check so he could make a down payment on a house. But like the child he is, he wanted to take a trip and hunt gold. He's always been an adventuresome soul. Well, go on, Milton. Get along. And if you dare light that dirty pipe, I'll shake your head off. Go on.
Yes, darling. Well, good day, gentlemen.
Well, it just goes to show you that no man can escape his destiny. No man can change fate. And when he attempts to do so, he only conjures up far worse conditions for himself. Poor Milton Strong ran away from things and ended up at the starting point, back with Martha. But he's happy now. Martha's nagging is now sweet music to his ears, because Martha really loves him. Out west, they almost lynched him, nearly took his freedom away. But Martha saved him. She lied for him. Yes, Milton did forge that check. He was even going to kill Martha. But he got cold feet the moment he walked into her room. But Milton will be a good boy now. In his search for so-called freedom, he came close to the jaws of death. Lucky Milton.
CBS has presented The Whistler. Original music for this production was composed by Wilbur Hatch and conducted by Ivan Ditmars. The Whistler is written and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originates from Columbia Square in Hollywood. Next week, same time,
I, the Whistler, will return to tell you another unusual story. Good night.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
If you have that show me attitude when it comes to shaving cream, we invite you to try Fitch's No Brush. We think it has the qualities you want in a shaving cream: a smooth, non-greasy texture, a skin conditioner ingredient to protect sensitive skins, and a fast action that instantly prepares your face for the grandest, coolest shave you've ever had. And to top it all off, Fitch's No Brush is reasonably priced. So we suggest you try it. See if we're not right when we say Fitch's No Brush gives a solid comfort shave.
If you're one of the many who swear by a lather cream, try Fitch's Brush Cream. This cream gives loads of swell lather that stays more during the shave. It rinses off easily, too. Like Fitch's No Brush, it contains a skin conditioner that makes even the most sensitive skins feel cool and smooth.
Yes, men, for shaving comfort, try either Fitch's Brush or Fitch's No Brush shaving cream. Both come in a form you like at a price you like. What's more, both will give you the kind of shave you like. So ask the man behind her for Fitch's Shave Cream. Fitch, spelled F-I-T-C-H.
Thanks for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.